There we go. That's perfect. That's going to work. But actual cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah. All right. Jason hasn't been with us.
Here's to the fucking analysts being in Malta as well. Thank you very much, ESL. Thank you. And when I say ESL, I mean Chad SPUNJ Burchill. He's single-handedly made this happen.
Well, no. We're gonna nip that one right in the butt right there immediately. No. But we have been plugging away at making this happen for some time. And finally, it's happened. Obviously, we knew there were a lot of reasons as to why this wasn't happening.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of phone calls. We've had a lot of chit-chats.
We've had to chip away at a big ice block.
We have, but we have had some help here. Oh, you're looking for the Wi-Fi password? So, look, I'll show you. Above the TV on the right-hand side. Oh, I hope people at home can't see it. Maybe someone come and log into my network.
Yeah, that's why I just handed it to you instead of asking you, Chad.
I don't. Maybe.
I didn't want to spill it.
Maybe they can't read it.
Well, don't give them your address.
Okay.
No, you're going to
For
get
a
doxxed.
multitude of reasons.
You're going to get doxxed by Dexter's fans.
All right, hold up. There, we should be on the login because I did it in capitals. It should be in capitals. If it's not in capitals, we'll try. It is in capitals. There you go.
Thank you very much.
All right, now you're on. You're on the. Do you want to be on the
I
internet?
think I'm on it from last time.
Oh, you've been here before.
I have been here before. This is
Oh,
my
that's
second
right.
time in the Palace of Chad.
Well, I cleaned it today.
It smells clean.
There was a lot of bleach. Going on.
What, did you kill someone in here?
No, well, someone thought so because I had 2 big trash bags just here previously. But
And like 3 empty things of bleach.
well, normally, right? Like I live in dim light. It's not really something which I look. If I turn on all the lights in here, it's very bright. I did this, and not really by choice. My girlfriend likes it a bit dimmer, so we have it a bit dimmer, and I've been living that lifestyle. But when it's dim, you can't really see how much dust there is. So today I was like, oh, there's a shitload of dust.
Yeah.
So I got to work, and I'm trying to pull off this hat backwards look. I don't know if I'm too old for it.
No, I think it looks good.
Are you complimenting me because you're in my house?
No, I think the hat backwards for me makes me look like I'm trying to fit in. I think for you, it works.
For now.
I think the look works.
For now, temporary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
you cleaned up the dust in your room. We have an update on the hotel as well. I inspected my room.
No mold.
No mold.
No mold.
Not a sign of mold.
Okay. Are you going to
think
inspect
that's
every player's room?
I think that's very facetious out of you, Jason. It's only day 1.
Mold takes time to grow.
Exactly.
Room service hasn't been ordered
I
yet.
feel like that's been unfair.
Well, look, Rush told me catering was good. He's already been here. He landed yesterday.
Okay.
He had some catering last night. He was quite content with things. So he was happy with that. In terms of your digs, I know that you guys are getting some computers into your rooms.
Yeah.
How were the rooms?
They're nice.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Well,
good.
that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, no complaints. They're nothing special.
You're in a
Good
better
size.
part of town.
Yeah, I noticed this is the part of town that. Well, I mean, this is the part of town that we went swimming in last time.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Yeah.
All the restaurants we've gone out to were in this area as well.
Wait, did we go to Two Boys? I think we went to Two Boys.
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
Stop looking at me. I was never here.
No, but these places you're gonna come
Still-
to.
Just
Still
don't make eye
salty.
contact with me when you talk about Malta.
Why
Yet.
not? You're
We'll do
here
it-
now.
You can do it at the next episode.
You're here-
I have to say, the vibe I got when I landed,
Okay.
I felt like I was in a James Bond movie. Like I can imagine Daniel Craig. I know he's not the Bond anymore.
Just imagining him walking.
I
out of
can
the
no, I
water
can
with
imagine him
shirt.
jumping over the rooftops, chasing someone
Okay, I see
on a
that.
motorcycle
I see it.
in the air,
Well, that's the thing.
saving the world.
I have the blinds down at the moment, but you can see those rooftops from here, right? There's plenty of them. I don't know. I've never really been on a rooftop here.
Because it's,
actually that's a lie. I have been on a rooftop.
And also, I
here.
forgot Malta was under
Congratulations.
Thank you.
British whatever rule, or so you drive on
once
the right
upon a
side of
time.
the road as well.
the PowerPoints are the same.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
What wasn't under British?
I didn't know there was a Maltese language. OJ Borg, a Maltese person, Malteser.
Yep.
Not a Malteser.
It's like
Maltesian.
Oliver James Borges Dastani.
D'Anastasi.
That's the one.
D'Anastasi, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Really?
a mixture. It's a mixture of Arabic and Italian, apparently, which sounds super cool.
Well, that's what I said. I don't know if he agrees with that. I think he did agree with that.
okay.
But it
Yeah, I don't want to
definitely-
offend anyone. So
No,
that's
me
what
either.
OJ Borg, Oliver James Borg, D'Anastasi said. So you can tweet at him, send him hate emails if he
At the BBC,
misrepresented
of
this.
course.
Of course. So yeah, it got. I don't know. We'll see how it is.
Prank calls
Apparently,
to his radio show.
Yeah.
a lot of Serbians in Malta as well. Apparently.
Yes, I have heard that. Henry's a bit more down with the pubs and stuff here than me. I don't really leave the sanctuary of this place.
Yeah.
I stay put. I look from my balcony. I wave at the people.
It's a nice view.
There's some
You
gum
wave
trees.
at the people.
There's no people.
Are you the mayor of this?
There's no of this building we're in right. Not the building in this apartment we're in right now. This is the sanctuary of Chad.
All right.
So it feels quite safe in here. It feels homely. It's the most homely a home has been for me, I don't know, since I was maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
You see, I feel bad now because I thought about bringing you a housewarming gift.
Yeah.
Right? But I was like, well, this isn't really your home. It's
I
like a
don't
temporary
own it.
home.
No, yeah.
So when I come to, Perth one day, Chad,
Okay.
that's when I'll bring you some special sauce.
I think there's a statute of limitations on housewarming gifts as well, isn't there?
I've been here for like a year and a
Yeah,
half
it's been
now.
a minute.
So
Yeah, but I haven't been here. It's like when you come, I mean, in Serbia, it's like when you first come to someone's house, you're supposed to bring a gift.
Okay.
Anyone's house, right?
For the first time ever?
For the first time ever. So let's say, obviously not if you're tagging along. I'm not tagging along with Jason. He has to finish something and get into the house. But if you're coming to like a friend's house or a friend's of a friend house or whatever, it can be something as simple as like some coffee, right? Like it doesn't have to be some massive fucking thing. But if it's a friend, like, my friend Milan, Jason
remember
Madden,
him.
he brought me a 5-liter, those like bottles of whiskey, but that are on the fucking swing. That's like a 5-liter one.
on the swing.
Yeah, it's like a massive one. Like you put it in your kitchen and then you're like,
Oh,
You know what I
it's
mean?
so
It's on like a
heavy.
hinge.
Okay,
no, because it's
okay.
massive and you can't pour it
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you can't with one hand. You have to use both hands. So it's on the swing, so it's easier. So for example,
It feels like
that's
it's taking up a lot of room.
Yeah, it wasn't there for a long time.
Okay, all right. You made use of it. That's fair enough. That's fair
That tends to happen with Yanko. He brought me a bottle of his family's rakia to
All
my
right.
to
That's
my-
what I want to bring you.
to my wedding, and that I didn't even really. I mean, I enjoyed it, but that was like a one-night situation.
Well,
That was-
this is what happened. So I sent Jason 2 bottles ages ago, right? And he's like sipping it here and there, drinking with a
I think
friend,
like
Very
four.
casual.
I think like 4, dude.
or maybe even 4.
Yeah.
4
Like,
bottles.
Well, yeah, maybe 2 one time and then 2 the next
Yeah.
time, So then he was like, hey, I'm kind of running low on rakia. And I was like, don't worry, I got you. So I brought some to Rio to take to the US for Jason, right? So I bring him an extra bottle. And the day before his wedding, the night before his wedding, he had like a get together at his place, some friends, so and so. And, he's like, yeah, I want to have a shot, of rakia, because you drink it like in shots, but you don't shot it like a tequila.
Sure.
Like you pour it in the same glass as a tequila, but you drink that amount from 2 sips, basically.
Okay.
It's kind of a simple way to
Yeah.
go about it. You're supposed to kind of savor it a little bit. He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then he tells one of his friends, hey, like, you want to try this? Like, it's Serbia stuff. It's really good. He tries. He's like, oh, this is great. Before I know it, it's like his dad's best friend's wife of 70 years is like, hey, I heard you got the stuff, like the good
You were the
stuff.
hookup.
I'm like, well, oh yeah, this Serbian thing, like, can I try it? I was like, of course. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, not gonna say no.
I'm not the boss of this place. Jason, he's like, yeah, just pour away. By the night's end, we drank all of the old stuff and the new bottle I brought to him. So Jason's empty.
like 2 of the old bottles and then one of the new ones.
So you had a good time.
Everyone was
Had a
wasted.
whale of a time.
You had a
Everyone
great
was-
time. A
everyone was
Serbian
an
time.
Robin especially.
Yeah, Robin got annihilated.
Was Sue there at that time?
Sue was
So
there
you
as
had
well.
seen Sue in recent history.
I saw Sue last week.
Yeah, I know, but like that's what I mean. Before that, I don't remember the last time I'd seen
had to have
Sue.
been pre-COVID, probably Katowice 2019
Wait, it could have been
or 2020.
Well, no,
I
you
guess.
saw her last year at Katowice. We were all sitting at that long table, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
in the lobby of the Novotel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was only a year ago then. Yeah, it's always nice seeing Sue. I think we spoke about Sue last.
Now that she doesn't
time.
do Counter-Strike, it is kind of like the yearly anniversary is Katowice to see
Which
Sue.
is weird, right?
Yeah, it is.
Because of the StarCraft.
But it's nice. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, it was good fun. You know what I was just thinking when he was explaining your wedding, right? And then I was thinking about now you're a dad.
Now I'm a dad.
And then I was thinking about you had a house that you were renovating.
Yep.
This all happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Think about all the adulting you've crammed into 2 years.
Yeah, COVID did a number on me.
It really forced you into being an
know.
adult, right?
Yeah, I
Fuck.
bought my first house. I bought my condo that I was living in previously. I remodeled the house, got married, have a baby, got a second dog. I've done a lot.
Yeah. How you
Yeah.
feeling?
Good.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah,
Really needs the beer.
yeah. It's doing really good.
Don't worry, the fridge has got more, and I bought an extra bottle of HenryG's. I've got some ice. I got some lemons that we can chop up and
Jason,
some tonic.
what are you and me gonna drink? Where's the scotch?
I don't do scotch.
We'll order some. There's some on
You
there.
can order-
Message Trace. Tell him to buy a bottle from the hotel.
Have you guys looked at Walt yet? Right, look at Walt.
Yeah. We ordered
Dude,
a bunch
I'm like the, how do you say it?
Walt Master.
No, the main person advertising.
You're a lifetime member of Walt.
Yes, like something like that.
yeah.
Yes, there's an icon. There's my picture when you install Walt in Serbia.
Oh, really? All right.
Well, not
no, I know it's like the dictionary. You know, you look up gullible. I was gonna go there. I
Okay,
couldn't
sorry.
get there in time.
I'm sorry, Chad.
That reminds me, the pre-wedding shindig at my house, after we polished off those 3 bottles of rakia and plenty of
He
other
ordered
just
some from Walt.
assorted cocktails from my bar, Yanko like ordered on Uber Eats, ordered like a case of beer.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
remember
shit!
that?
I
You
ordered
like
because
a case
because
of beer and
Jason-
like another bottle of vodka. I was like, what the fuck?
And I went with Jason. So
Was it Keystone?
So, no, no, it was Michelob Ultra, of course,
Yep,
and some Bud
naturally.
Lights. But I went with Jason during the day. He was like getting a couple of extra things for this shindig. He's like, "Cool, I need some more beer," and I'm like, "Fine." He gets like 2 6-packs, I think, of some. One is IPA and the other is some lager. I'm like, what, whatever. And then I get to his place, and that's the only beer he has in his house. It's
I don't
like,
know many beer drinkers.
But it's like, you know,
I'm
to
only doing
sip on
this because I
something.
want to seem cool.
To sip on something, right? Like you can't just do shots all the time.
No, that's
right?
true.
You'll get fucked up
Debatable.
too soon,
Counterpoint.
too fast.
The W in Atlanta probably says differently. Than that.
Oh God, talking about Sue. She was on a tear there.
That was
God bless
different
Twitch
times.
and the good old Twitch days.
That was different times.
Me and Sue had some good times at the W Hotel during E League when she was working the seasons with me as well. We closed that bar down a number of times.
And that's that we have that experience in Katowice now with Philip, the bartender in the long-haired bartender.
Trace's best friend.
Trace's mate, right?
We know bartenders all around the world now.
Yeah, Trace sent me a picture the other day, and I'm sure we were talking about this when we had
The
Trace
message?
on. No, he just sent it to me privately, I think. A picture of a bartender, or I guess he was like the manager of the Ritz-Carlton in Shanghai. And we went to the rooftop bar. I'm sure you came there with us at least once.
I don't think I was there the first time. I don't know about this. I went there with some group. I don't know. I don't remember. Who
I've
it
been
was.
there with Trace like twice, I think. And both times, Mr. Frank Lee has been there. Frank fucking Lee, our mate up there. He's the manager of the bar. He's a good lad, you know, hooking us up, I think, with like $30 beers. They were it was like the barreled Tsingtao or whatever it is. I think that's the Chinese
Tsingtao.
beer.
Tsingtao?
Yeah. So
Something
they had
like
the
that.
barreled version of that, and we were paying through the nose for it, but we were having a good time, you know.
Yeah.
And this is kind of, I think a lot of people don't realize, and we kind of took it for granted as well. But the amount of time that there was a big group of us, but I would say 6 of us, you know, it was the 3 of us. We had Trace, we had Alex, and we had Henry,
yeah.
right? And we were a pretty tight-knit group. And we were traveling around the world nonstop, going to event, having a great time. We stayed in Australia together. You had Jane come down. We were in Bondi and stuff. And we were just going to event, the traveling circus. And then you fucked off to Liquid. He fucked off to FaZe and MIBR in whichever order you
I
wanted
fucked
to.
off during COVID though. You know, I didn't put a damper on any of that.
Well, there's just
Disclaimer.
been some chopping
Chad
and
really holds a grudge against me, like for that, you know.
I
He said, I
still
told him,
remember
you
the
left,
event.
you and Alex went to cast. He's like, you left me first.
It's true.
I'm like,
Alex
shit.
left me as well. Alex went to cast. It was like
Dude,
it was all falling apart.
I still remember the Star Ladder we were working when they had switched to that best of 3 Swiss system.
Okay.
It was a Swiss system where every
Is this Berlin?
this would have been in Kiev.
Okay,
I
all right,
believe.
all right, all right.
And I remember just at the end of the event, Yanko just came up so fed up. He's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna go coach a team." Because he'd been like an analyst for like every best of 3 series during the Swiss stage. He'd been on the desk and done like 5-hour series across these best of 3s, like 3 of them a day, and he was just so exhausted. Oh.
Well, it was actually ESL that pushed me to. It wasn't like the Star Ladder event.
Okay.
It was the Belo Horizonte thing.
Oh, that's right. I
Because
remember
the
this.
travel for me
You
to
remember
Belo
this, Jason.
Horizonte was like 20.
I don't want to talk about Belo Horizonte. I still have the videos.
It was like longer than Sydney for me, so it's like 26, 27
It was
hours,
a long
right?
trip.
So I'm like, we already had discussions about potentially getting like premium economy for these flights or whatever, but you know, it wasn't set yet. So I'm like, listen, can I get like either a better flight or for higher class? I asked for something, and I'm like, can you guys pitch in, you know, 500 euros or something, and I'll pay for the rest. I felt like that was fair. That was because there was no premium economy on that route.
They had to
only
go
business. So I was like, okay, I understand that's, you know, I'm not going to ask you guys for business, but can you pay 500, which would have been premium economy with a different alliance, you know, different,
Sure.
whatever. And they were like, no, we can't do that. Like either you pay for it full. And I'm like, that's a, you know, it's a categorical no. And I felt like, I don't know, I felt a
loyal
little bit,
soldier?
I felt I was that for ESL through and through, right? Like never had any problems with me, nothing like that. And, you know, I just felt a little bit underappreciated. And, you know, where I come from, for me, I know that's not like how things are done in the West or something, but for me, like, I don't know, I was like, okay, so this is just how it can be one day. I can just be, nothing I did up until this point matters, if whatever, even some, so okay. And at that point, I already, you know, people were already coming to me a little bit poking around coaching, right? So I was like, yeah, this feels like probably the moment.
A good time, right?
The moment to do it. So it was a sort of a right place at the right time. If I didn't have that opportunity, I would have kept grinding as I was. But I feel like, at the time, it felt like a good change of pace, a new challenge as well.
That's key, right? Like you look at what we've all done over these years, right? And this is something else that I was thinking about the other day. I wouldn't say we're first gen at what we do. There was people who came before us doing what we did, right? And we would listen to them, like the Joe Millers of the world. I remember listening to Red Eye when I was young, right? At WCG.
Joe Miller.
Right? Exactly.
I listened to Joe in 2 games.
Tosspot, right?
Well.
All these guys, right?
You're a big Tosspot fan.
Yeah, of course. That's why the boxes of tissues are everywhere, mate. No, I remember we listened to all these.
So many things.
But we're kind of like the first gen who get to do this full time professionally, right? Yeah. And that's something that I feel you want to change eventually in what you're doing. So for example, like I went from being a player into being an analyst into now commentating as a color commentator, right? Like we've all had different transitions, but one of the things which is key with almost everybody, right, is that they played Counter-Strike to some like either level of, hey, this is a lot of fun and I enjoy doing it with my friends, or I take this semi-seriously or very seriously. Yeah. And that's like the core of where we've all come from, right? But now we're just existing in this ecosystem, getting to fucking talk about a video game that we were passionate about when we were teenagers that we still get fucking love now. And that's the thing. I'm taking us into Pro League with this, but we can still go anywhere. That I hope that we can bring through in Pro League is everybody's here for the same reason. And I feel we've hit this point where the broadcast and the shows, it needs to be, it's a level of professionalism and everything to it, and that's fine. What we're delivering, I think, is pretty fucking good considering the lifespan of this game, right? And how far we've come and what we're talking about here. And I mentioned this on HLTV last night, but I want to mention it again here, and I kind of want to extrapolate this conversation a bit, but we're essentially just doing something that we're passionate about. It's a fucking video game. Boys, go back to when we were teenagers, go back to when we were kids. Like, I know it's a bit more of an expectation and an understanding now that this is a career path. Like, streaming is a fucking career path, right?
I know. Dude, I hear kids all the time, like, say that they want to be like YouTubers and streamers when they grow up. And I'm like, oh, no.
Please don't.
Sweet,
it's crazy, though,
child.
right? And then you think of that, we're like, we're obviously... We're adjacent to that, but this is the same thing. Like, people can grow up and want to be a career, whatever. So we're like second gen at what we do, but probably first gen of being like full-time professionals at what we do. And then I just keep returning back to that core. And then when I consider myself a golf expert and a tennis expert right now. I watch Breaking Point and Full Swing on Netflix in the last couple of days, right? I didn't get into the Drive to Survive thing for Formula One. It doesn't interest me. I don't really give a fuck about cars. But like tennis, it's hard, right? Golf, I used to play it a little bit. I even had lessons when I was a kid.
Golf is fucking hard.
Because Formula One is easy.
No, it's like the car thing, I'm just saying, like, I can relate better to like tennis and golf at the difficulty of those. Whereas racing, it's completely out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
right?
you've never driven a car in your life. Not that fast, anyway.
Not that fast. I've always been a goody two-shoes. I don't want to get fined, Yanko, all right? I got done once. I remember I was taking the camera crew that got sent from E-League, because when I played in E-League, we were like a featured team, because Monty, his agency that he was represented by knew the WME IMG. I think maybe was an overlap there with those people.
No, they were like co-running it.
So
they were like 50% of the owner of that product for the first year.
So there was an overlap in that scenario right there. So what ended up happening was we knew about that league before everybody else. I remember there was like
they sent a crew out to you guys in Vegas, right? That's where you have
they sent a crew out to Australia.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did do it like an Australian feature.
Yeah, and I was there with my girlfriend at the time, like Emily, and I went across to Rottnest Island and we were walking back.
I miss Emily.
Worms. And we were we were walking back. Jason's the man to open the beers, Yanko. I have a bottle opener here. Hold up.
Is she the one that puked all over me? Or?
Yeah. That's Emily. Here you go. Here's a bottle opener.
So many good memories. I hope she listens to this. Send her the link to this.
Emily's lovely. She just went and did
3 kids now, of course. Or
no,
like
no, nothing like that. She went and did
still thinking about you.
She went and did a CrossFit. Come on, man. She went and did a CrossFit competition in America somewhere at some point recently.
Yeah, they all lose their minds after you leave them, Chad.
But I was going to where I was fined while I was driving.
Oh, right.
So the crew came across and I picked them up from the airport because the whole thing was to film like a docu-series around us. So me picking them up in my truck, because I was a plumber back in those days, and I was taking him to the hotel in the city, and I didn't have a GPS. So what I did was I just used my phone, but I hadn't put the mount up. So I just put the phone on my leg. So I was just looking down to the phone to look at the GPS for the map, and a fucking cop in a motorbike pulls up next to me, and I get fined while the people from fucking Turner are there to film some shit about me. Awesome. And in Australia, to get done on your phone while driving, it's like 4 demerit points in Perth, where you get 12, right? And like a $500 fine. And I was like, for fuck's sake, man. Like, I was doing something nice by picking him up. I didn't have to go pick him up. And I got, anyway,
You couldn't
fuck
talk your way out
driving.
of it?
I didn't even try.
Did
man.
you invoice it to
You
you?
always
No,
try. I had one time
stomached it.
because Serbia loves Serbia, but it's like, so you know.
Did you say Serbia loves Serbia?
Yeah.
No,
Serbia does love Serbia.
No, Serbia. I love Serbia.
Okay, that's much
I
different.
had one time, so you know, it's like you drive. It's like a short drive from this club where my friends were working at to this food place we were going to. It's like 2 minutes, right? So it's like, yeah, let's just drive there. You know, there shouldn't be any cops or whatever. Of course, the cops are right after the parking lot, after the ramp, right? So they pull my friend over. He's had a lot to drink. So
Inebriated, some
right?
might
So
say.
they want to give him the thing to blow in it, the breathalyzer. He's like, no. Let's talk about this for a little bit. Right?
Negotiating with the police.
Yes.
I didn't know this was an
and
option.
They're like, come
It's a
on,
cash
bro.
country,
just-
Jack.
oh no, it's very much an option in Serbia.
Okay.
So at that point, at some point, I don't even remember how, because me and my friend are also wasted. And he's out of the car, and this guy is chasing after him to breathe into the thing, and he's going around the car. Because as soon as you breathe into it,
It's
over,
GG.
Yep.
right? Not because it's gonna detect that you're drunk. It's because then it's in the machine.
Okay.
And you can't you can't like
can't
breathe
argue a
and then
machine.
offer something after you breath into the machine.
Okay.
right?
It's official.
It's done, right?
All right.
What he can do for you is he can breathe into it
The police
for a
officer.
fee.
Well,
Whoever hasn't drunk anything, Chad. So then it's like,
Is this-
So
this
then it's
feels
like,
like-
he's like, hey, listen,
Yanko,
why
there's
don't
a-
you and your colleague go to a nice restaurant?
so stupid.
Here's like enough for some roast pork or whatever, a couple of rakias, a couple of beers,
Hell
and we'll
yeah.
be on our way.
Hell yeah.
this feels like corruption. Is this corruption or is this just a bribe?
It's just life, Chad. You don't have to be so fucking.
I'm scared,
Squeaky
man.
clean
I was
about
brought
it.
up as a goody two shoes. I've only started.
Yeah, you were raised in Australia, mate. So
Can I
scary
tell the story of you at the club we went to? Getting us into
which
the club?
one? Which one?
It's getting dangerous.
When I went to visit Yanko,
I trust you, Jason. So
I
you
went to
can tell
visit
it.
Yanko in Serbia, like when was that? Like 2017, I think it was.
2017.
Is this
yeah.
where you had to disguise yourself on the way to the football?
Yeah, there was no, I didn't. Yanko just said, Jason, for the next like 15 minutes, just don't talk.
Because it was a friendly between a Serbian club and a Russian club.
Okay.
Because they're like sister clubs, and Jason is like yapping around in English and in
And
American
they had
accent.
all the riot police
And I'm
lining.
like, Jason, maybe be quiet until we get into the stadium,
But we went out to this club, and Nico was living in Bosnia at the time, and he came into Serbia. And Yanko had been telling me, like, oh, yeah, I used to, like, before esports, I was doing, like, club promotion. I was, like, I worked in the
Okay.
clubs and everything like that. So, like, I know all the people. I can get us a table. I can get us hooked up. And we walk up to this club, and this was, like, yeah, Nico was very, very young. And the guy at the door was just like, yeah, it's not that he was too young to go in. It's that he looked too young
Yeah.
to go in. Like, he was
I
just
see,
like, you
okay.
don't
But there's
look.
not a set rule. Like the
Yeah.
guy in the front of the club, there's always,
Decides.
it's called a front man. So he decides who gets in, who
Okay.
doesn't. So it's basically just based off of appearance. He can tell you it's 28 plus if
Yeah.
he wants to, right? If you
Okay.
say I'm 27.
And Yanko was just like he was like trying to get him in, trying to work his magic, and then the guy just wasn't budging, and Yanko just goes, "Look, when this conversation's done, I'm gonna message the manager of the club. I'm gonna message him on my phone, and I'm gonna get him out here, and he's gonna let us in. So you can either let us in now, or he's gonna come out and he's gonna let us in." And the guy still didn't budge. So then Yanko messaged the manager, and the guy came out and let us all into the club, like no problems. Just like, yeah, come on in. Got us a table on the floor.
How'd the bouncer feel?
I mean, he was just doing his job,
Yeah.
right?
But you
like
big-
that's
you
his
did
job,
big
and
dick
he
it.
and
You
he
did big dick it.
Well, I had to big dick it. I had to get us. I had to get us in. Like Jason is only in for like 3-4. This is also the night. I remember this night now. So it started off with the dinner.
I don't know if I like
right.
where
So
this
we
is
had
going.
some food, and then this club is like 10 minutes walk from the dinner place. So we're just walking. It's next to the river. It's nice. But then my friend texts me because we have a little bit like it's too early to go to the club and it's too late to stay at the dinner place. So on the way there, a couple of my friends are just having a drink. It's sort of a pub
Sure.
type
okay,
of a thing.
okay.
I love that pub. It was cool. It had like wooden tables, and there were big candles in the middle that had been just melted down, so the tables were covered in wax.
It's
It was
like-
a cool aesthetic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in an old building, so it's like it was a really cool place. And they get us in, and it's like we come in and they're having like beer. What's this? Oh, they had some shots. So we started ordering tequila like for us plus them. So it was me, him, and Nico, right? So I think
Yeah.
it was 3 or 4, and then there was like 3 friends there with like 4 girls. And the guy was like, "Well, if you ordered this, I ordered like 20 shots." He's like, bottle is like 23 shots.
So
Well,
might as well
just
just
bring
order
us
a
a
bottle.
bottle. And we just came in for one drink. That was the thing. We came in to kill like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. In those 20 minutes, we had like a bottle of tequila and we were drinking at the dinner. And then we went to the club. So like, bro, and it's cold. This was like March. Yeah, it was March because you came for the anniversary of the bombing. So,
But that's why you're telling him to keep
a
his
whole other
voice
story.
down.
yeah. So it was cold at the time. And just, standing outside freezing, just let us in, bro. So yeah, that's eventually
The long story
we got
short,
in.
you got in.
But then Jason was surprised because there was like a projection of $100 bill on the wall because this is like
An American $100 bill.
Yeah, this is like an R&B club. The club.
You're listening to
is-
my
50
favorite
so
R&B.
50 Cent.
the club's called the Bank. So, and the summer version is called Money.
Oh my god. Okay.
Good times in Belgrade. You should come visit, Chad.
I should.
I won't take you
The
clubbing.
food is incredible.
It doesn't
I'm past
count
that,
It
but
doesn't count as Europe either. You know,
Thank you.
you aren't in the EU. Is that well, I don't know. That's kind of a good thing,
we're
right?
not in the EU. We're in Europe, but not in the EU.
But you're like an esports
I mean, we're in
capital
this.
of the
Yes,
world
we're
right
in this
now.
sweet spot. Yeah.
Because people don't have any days taken away from them. That's why everyone's
Well,
coming to Serbia.
in theory, there's the same rule you have in EU. You have it in Serbia. So,
Oh, in theory.
But as we've already heard, you just
but if you like go in and go
You
out,
grease the
if
wheel
you
a
just
little
leave
bit
and
and-
come back, and
no one's paying attention. So where's more free?
Yeah, but that's great. What?
America or Serbia? Which is more free right now? Seems like their places.
Neither is free.
Actually, you got to pay, so maybe not free.
Neither is free. Well, at least in Serbia you can pay for freedom. In America you can't.
Oh.
You just think you're free. And back to Counter-Strike.
you can. You can.
Okay, so it is the case the rich get richer everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's a universal rule.
Yeah, well, it's everyone's favorite
Here's to
rule.
being rich.
Oh, dear.
Shit. Okay, Group A.
And Counter-Strike now. No, but look, obviously, the core premise of all of this, right? We've mentioned a couple of tidbits here, is that we travel the world together for a long
Yeah,
period
it's
of
a
time.
privilege.
We've all kind of I don't want to say deviated from that path in recent years, but there's definitely been more focus on other bits and bobs.
Yeah, there's been some deviation, but I would say more than anything, the industry that we kind of started this career path in 4 or 5 years
changed a
ago, because no one will ever be able to do what we did from 2015 to like 2019.
Yeah, but that's what you've just said there is what we're trying to recapture the essence of with what we're doing with Pro League.
Yeah.
Because, right, what we used to do was the runner show wasn't very stringent. The runner show was like, okay, right. Remember when we did Starlighter events? It was like, we're just going to bring up graphics, talk about whatever the fuck you want. Remember that? We talk about whatever the fuck we want.
The producer didn't even speak English.
No, but
so I had to, in my like half-assed Russian, try to explain to him that two of our mics aren't working.
So, but with like, there was always a couple of issues, right? That's not disputable whatsoever. But in terms of that like freedom and space we were given, just to kind of set our own agenda and talk about whatever we wanted, that was a whole lot different to what we do now, right? Because I look at a lot of the desk segments, and I understand there's a lot of information to pack in. There's a lot of things that are sold. There's a lot of stuff we need to convey to the viewer. But hopefully with Pro League, and this is the thing, Prof and Striker were asking me last night on HLTV, what's going to be different? And I didn't give like a really an answer full with gusto.
We don't have a concrete answer.
Exactly.
We don't. I have no idea.
Which is the beauty of it.
I got the fucking presentation or whatever, right? But it doesn't have to mean anything, right? There's a lot of things written there and said. In reality, to me, it feels like we can take it where the fuck we want, more or less.
I saw the article on HLTV that was like, yeah, Pro League has a bunch of new changes coming in this season. I was like, what the fuck do they know that I d-? And then like they were like, yeah, even Maui as an analyst is tweeting out that Pro League is going to have some cool new features. And I was like, what the fuck does Maui know that I don't?
So, but we obviously know, right? There's going to
Jason's
be
like, I missed one fucking event,
No,
and
I
I'm
mean-
already out of the loop.
No, I mean, it's because like I know the premise. I kind of helped put some of it together as a pitch over the past few months, but there's no like real concrete details worked out.
Yeah, we're
It's
going to
just
work
kind
the
of-
details out
Well,
when we get there.
no,
It's
but
just
that's
kind of a concept.
No, but I like that
Yeah.
because nowadays, like, I feel that was the problem with some of the shows and some of the
Too
broadcasts.
rigid.
It's like everything's rigid. Like, we can't just let you guys talk. Why not? I mean, that used to be all that we were doing.
That was our bread and butter.
And also,
Yeah.
it's like, well, it sounded like, people weren't really trusting us. And, to some extent, it's like, well, you do know if I say something outrageous,
It's on you.
you're not gonna hire me again. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll lose my job, I'll get canceled. And also, the reason why people are really good at what they do, we're not,
We're not idiots.
no, but also people are, there's,
Not all of us.
Not
it's like-
everyone.
you prove your mettle when shit goes south.
Yeah.
When shit hits the fan, when
Yeah.
things go off script. A lot of people can, they do this match the night before, they prepare all the facts, they know what's in the round of show, there's this many minutes to talk.
This is
have
what
this
you
point,
talk about
that
here,
point,
this is what you
and
talk
that's
about
it.
here.
But
Yeah.
what if you have to talk like we did in the grand final of the major for 40 more minutes.
Yeah.
With nothing there. That's where you're like kind of
in an arena on a desk in front of a crowd of 10,000 people.
exactly. So that's where you sort of have to not just talk, but keep it engaging, entertaining, make it. I mean, to me, it felt like that particular one. It felt great because it's also me and Trace and Maniac have like good chemistry
rapport,
at this point. So we can do that. It was just considered that's like something that you, me, and Alex had for a long time. Like we could do that, we could do this podcast sort of. It was a podcast sort of a thing a bunch of times. So to me, I don't know where along the way that became a thing where everything had to have assets following it. And I don't want, this is going to sound very cocky, so I want to preface this with this is not how I feel we're like. But some of the most entertaining like desk segments or that sort of a show is inside the NBA with Shaq, Charles, and whatnot. And
it's a bit more raw.
I don't want to compare that to that, but I'm sure those guys don't have a fucking this is how the show is going to look like. Like, yes, there's general points you want to hit. Obviously, like that, those are the current news and the current topics that's going around. But
they sometimes don't even really talk about the games that they're covering.
Yeah, but
they're just up there.
That's why they have the most Emmys for that sort of a studio type of a thing. Why? Because they showcase their personality, and that's why people tune in. For the most part, right? Like, and of course, at times there's in-depth stuff, maybe you have a different, smaller show for that sort of a thing for people who really want to get into it. But I feel like that's what it should be more, especially in fucking esports. It should be more like laid back. No?
It's mostly a disconnect, I think, between us who are kind of on like the ground floor of not the ground floor, but like we're kind of in the weeds of esports.
Chad is
like
on the first 10 floors.
We're like
he has
part
that
of
turbo
the
elevator like in Star Wars.
We're part of the community of esports.
So when he's
we've
gonna
grown
go
up
to
in
Star
esports.
Trek, he's gonna just be teleported from floor to floor.
Face me up, Scotty.
But the management
Beam
and
me
like
up.
the production and the sales people of all these companies are like they're pitching this as like we want to be the BBC Sports and we want to be the
Jesus
ESPN
Christ.
and that's where the disconnect comes in because they're crafting the show and they're bringing in all these sponsors to do elements that make it more structured and rigid. And to bring the whole conversation full circle to what Chad started with is we get to talk about a fucking video game.
Yeah.
Like we've along the path of
That's
trying
fun.
to become the BBC Sports and the ESPNs and the Fox Sports, whatever you want to compare it to. We kind of lost the fact that we're at the end of the day just supposed to be having fun with the video game, and that kind of sports style works for events like Katowice and the Major and the Colognes and the events that have that kind of they have the stakes and the prestige already built into it.
Yep.
And I mean, just sometimes it just doesn't pan out. So yeah, we need to kind of course correct and bring it back to the middle ground.
Well, it's like, when I watch those things in sports, I look for mostly one of the three things to be entertained, right? Either get in-depth knowledge about the actual game, the sport, or whatever that I didn't know. That's entertaining to me. Just humor in itself, cracking jokes and personalities, that's another thing that's entertaining to me. And the third thing would probably be inside info that you wouldn't know otherwise.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be, these two guys are fighting each other, in a team, they don't like each other, but it can just be, we heard backstage, this guy's a little bit struggling, or this team, they didn't have as much time to practice. Like some of those things that could explain some of the results that you won't see on HLTV, you won't hear it in any news, but just because we have the, connections that we have been around for a long time, we could bring that. So I feel like Pro League can be all three of that, mostly on the fun side of things, right?
But that last bit you bring up is key here, right? And Jason, I like the finger tattoo. The last bit that you bring up here is really key. It's about us nurturing an environment where the players feel like they want to talk to us, because that's how it used to be back in the day. I remember as a player actively wanting to be talking to you guys so you knew more about us and could tell our story the best you possibly could. Hey, Chad's a fun guy. He's got us here eating fucking Wheat Bix, He's got a bit, and that's, I spent some time.
And you saw Twist.
And
Twist loved it. This wasn't like us or ESL
Twist was really good.
pushing him like, hey, Russell, can you come back? It was just like, hey, I'm free to, I can come in again if you guys want. And like, are you sure it's been a long day? It's like, yeah,
But people miss that.
It.
People don't remember those days, Jason.
Well, I think there's two things. One, the old days it was a lot easier because all the players were out at the bars drinking.
True. Yeah, it's a bit
So
more
it's a lot
professional
easier.
these
It's a lot
days.
easier to have those conversations nowadays when they're done with their match. Like we don't even see the players that much anymore.
We knew all the things about them that they did, so we could like them to come into this.
But the other, I mean, we even touched on this last Pro League season in Malta. We met with Christian from
Lens.
From
Yeah,
Big.
yeah.
And one of the because we were asking him like, what would you like to see out of Pro League? And he was like, one thing that's super frustrating for us as an org is we don't have the chance to tell the story with all the questions around Tabson being in Big and not going to a new team and people thinking that like he's locked into this contract or locked into this team unfairly. And he's just like, I wish that we had a platform to where we could actually tell the true side of that, where Tabson wants to be here and he believes in this project and this idea and this philosophy of building a German team, and that's his goal. And then you can build that up as a story for Big to make it compelling to a fan. And that is some of the frustration I think that players now and definitely organizations have now.
Yeah, but let's make this clear. If there are any players that listen to this, right, the key is if you're playing in Pro League and you want to come chat to us during a cast, during a couch segment, during anything, you are more than welcome. You are the stars of the show.
Yourself
You
down.
don't
We have an
even
extra
have to
mic.
message us. Just walk up
Exactly.
and put it on. Or
We have an extra microphone on the couches for you.
I think multiple. And on top of this, if you are a player who's ever played at a summit and you understand the vibe, be a good example for everybody else. Let's have some fucking fun with it again. Let's bring it back to the core. Let's humanize you. Let's show the work that you put in. We understand you're professionals. We understand that you want to win. And this is all about the W. But remember what it was like when you were playing pugs back in fucking 3 o'clock in the morning against your mates and you're winning that pug and teabagging a guy because you outplayed him. Because, you know, let's go back to the core.
You fucking suck.
Yeah, let's go back to the core of what makes this beautiful.
Winning those
right?
grudge matches was almost better than winning officials.
Right.
It was almost better.
When you're playing pugs against the same people and you know how where a guy clutches, right? All these little details of why not only the players play, but the viewer at home who plays gets involved in the action because it's because of all of these moments, right? I love being in the server with Harry and Hugo and Rush and all those guys, right? Because we're fucking around. I'm getting serious. I'm fucking tilting. I'm trying to play some proper Counter-Strike, get them to do my defaults and shit. It's fun. And I'm like, I'm still playing Counter-Strike as a 33-year-old man and enjoying the fuck out of it.
I grinded a lot of Counter-Strike over the winter break.
I'm
I'm
committing publicly now, Chad. I'll help you out.
Okay.
During this Pro League stint, I'll jump back on.
Get back in the servers.
Oh,
But
I
this
haven't
is
played in a while, but
mate,
I need some
trying to-
Anubis reps. I need more Anubis reps.
I'm trying to build out like all this like basic stuff for the boys, right? Like I've started building out, okay, all the maps. I got the overviews. I've got fucking Photoshop and Adobe going. I'm naming all the spots. I've got putting it up publicly in a Google Drive. I'm showing basic util for like Insta spawn
You're a
smoke for
fucking
window.
nerd.
I fucking love this shit.
You're a
And that's
fucking
what I
nerd.
want. That's what I want Pro League to be. Everybody who loves this shit in one place, having a great time and having fun with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and here's what we, right, need to keep in mind. We're the butt of a lot of the jokes, right? Like, think like not us particularly, but the talent crew, like the people on the broadcast.
I'm fine with that.
But this is the point in where
I'll
like,
take skin.
I
like to take the piss for myself.
But this is where we need to go back and roll it back to where we were, just fucking clowning around, right? We watch our P's and Q's. We're not swearing, right? We're keeping it as a family show, right?
We can
But
swear a
we're
little
having fun. You know, like I would love to see.
If I ever have to play another fucking 2v2 against you, Chad, I'll lose my shit.
They didn't like
Yeah,
that.
you are a
Rat.
fucking asshole.
We have to set it up again. He's just such a fucking rat. He just camps out.
It was like
you
3
guys
months
have
out of
to
his
understand
professional
that
career.
no, it's not only that. It's like we're doing a show match before a grand final, right? So it's like we're
camping in a
supposed to
corner.
entertain people, and we're playing fucking canals or some
Canals,
shit.
yeah.
In a 2v2, it's me and you.
Yeah,
Just me and
you
Henry.
versus him and Henry.
Against him and Henry. And Henry's like playing normally for show match conditions. He's like, you know, wherever he's
He's
spawn, you
experienced
seek
show
out a
matcher,
fight,
yeah.
whatever. And then there's Chad just crouching in some corner in the dark, volume maxed out, 10 volume in game, right?
I've
And
actually
waiting for
never
you to
been
come
so
at
angry.
him. And then I'm like, yeah, great, Chad. Like, you're crouching here, you heard me running, and you killed me, and great. Is this like what these people are in their seats?
I've
for?
never been so
But
angry
he doesn't
after a show
care.
match.
He just wants to fucking win, no matter the cost.
I don't need to ask the question. You know exactly why I did it, because I wanted to fucking win. That's why I did it.
Psychopath.
And that's why outsiders play like outsiders do, because they want to fucking
Chad,
win.
it's a fucking 2v2 show match.
I don't
you
care.
didn't win. You didn't win the fucking major with that. Give me a fucking break.
But I don't have too many W's that I can reflect on, right? I think about the Titan
Also,
game.
you may have won, but at what cost?
Hey, you
What
guys are
cost?
you guys are still here, so
We all got video cards. at
Dude,
the
it's
end of the
also it's also like
Wait, you got a
this
video card?
Titan
I
game is
got
so
another i7.
publicized. Like people know about that game more than they don't know like who played in the grand final of Katowice 2015. They have no idea who played
Fnatic did. Fnatic won it.
against.
I
I mean, you know this, but you're not fair.
what's it against NIP?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say NIP.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That was when it was
It
still
was
a
my
major,
first.
right?
I did the final as an observer. It was the first time we cracked a mil
Damn.
on a game.
Damn. See the player count at the moment? It's like 1.3 mil.
Yeah, it broke another record.
Hey, man, fuck Valve, man.
Crazy.
Valve fucking suck. Valve don't know
I
what
know.
they're doing. Valve have no idea. Why don't Valve do an operation? Hold up a second. We've just broken another record.
Well, I will say, a lot of fans and
Wait,
viewers,
wait.
but not our listeners, because this is like the higher class of
That's
Counter-Strike
right.
audience.
The highbrow
But
listeners.
but people don't know what they want. They don't know what they're talking about. You know, I was a little bit. I've grown. Valve has grown on me over the years.
Okay.
When I was younger.
Yeah,
Also,
me
just
too.
as a human,
Me
you know,
too.
like you're a little bit frustrated with things and you don't see things clearly. But you know, as time goes by, and just in life, when I see things develop, the more hands-on people are, like the things have a higher propensity for getting worse. Like, and being overly controlling. And sure, is the thing that we have perfect? It's not. Is it better than it would have been otherwise? Probably yes.
Also, look at all the other games that just struggle when their devs are super hands-on.
Yeah.
Like, that's all the evidence you really need. Like, it's like just when they start getting their fingers in the esports pie, it goes downhill.
Because this way, the players are the innovators. Players dictate the meta. Players change the meta, not
Well,
the
the scene
developers.
dictates
But
everything.
And sure, yes, there's been updates over the time that influence the meta and change the meta.
It's not as harsh of a change
I'll
as in other games,
forever
though.
be butthurt about you know Krieg and the AUG meta, right, and all
Probably
of that
the Liquid
stuff.
Grand Slam. I'm fine with it. Bring it back.
Someone needed to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know whatever, but I think like in general, this way, you know, it's doing.
It seems
good.
to be working.
Could
I
they be
have a
doing
new- I've had-
some things more of some? Probably yes. And when I say that, I mostly mean like the cosmetic stuff for the casual players, like maybe an operation a little bit more often. I don't think it could hurt the game, but obviously there's probably reasons for it not being the case.
What's the feedback loop here if you're Valve and you're looking at the record for the players and you're like, well, I guess we're doing something right.
But Chad, you're either improving or you're deteriorating. Like stagnating is
Well,
know,
they're
as good as
improving right now, right?
Well, yes,
They're improving by
but it's
doing
also,
nothing.
Yes, but it's also, but it's also, you know, you look at could this be if we're improving like this? What if?
Yeah.
How much more could we be?
Sure.
You know, so it all depends on how you know much hours they have available to them and how many people work and all these things, right? So I'm not being like petty here. I'm just like I'm fine. I'm cool.
I'm
I think
happy
we're
that
in a good
Valorant
place.
exists though, right? Because now, in 20 years' time from now, when we're all fucking 50-something, we can sit there and reflect and look at the two different models, right? Because Riot is much more hands-on, right? They decide everything, right? Whereas you bang
But
on...
here's the sorry.
Yeah?
No, I was just gonna say you can't make an esport.
No,
You
Overwatch
can't
tried.
make a game an esport. Overwatch is an example of that. Heroes of the Storm, another one. Like the game needs to become popular organically, which is what happened. That's how Counter-Strike got popular. That's how ESL became a thing.
I feel like game devs only try and make games an esport as a part of marketing, whereas Counter-Strike wasn't made an esport
Yes.
as part of marketing. It was made an esport because people like playing the
Yes.
game and competing in the game.
Yes, and then tournament
Also-
organizers saw a
Value in
chance, saw value in making tournaments for Counter-Strike. So that's why it's great. Like that's why it's the best esport when it comes to FPS.
Let's also be a little bit realistic though about it too. Counter-Strike kind of had a leg up on most other modern day esports in the sense that Counter-Strike's been a competitive esport and building that infrastructure and that game in that esport structure to it since 2000.
Yeah, but that's because people have wanted to compete at it, right? Like we decided. I know there's been lots of changes.
if you're CS:GO, right? Like when CS:GO gets released, you already have ESL, you already have DreamHack,
Sure.
you already have companies that have been running, esports tournaments, and you have HLTV who's building up the journalistic side of things. You have ESCA who's doing news at the time. You have
Yeah.
all these different outlets who have been involved in building up an esport from 1.6 from source. So it's an easier transition. If you're a new game coming in and you're like, okay, we have a cool player base, we're getting some momentum, let's try and spring this into an esport. They have the disadvantage of being like, okay, we have to have all these various things pop up like right around the same time to start building this and getting some momentum to it. So I'd say it's a little bit tougher, but I do agree, obviously. Counter-Strike's the best esport.
Yeah, well, and we're a little bit biased here, but I just think with
I say that unbiased.
you said that, which is impossible,
Unbiased.
but we'll take it. We'll take it. I feel like we're constantly in a position of development, right? And a lot of the time we're knee-jerk reacting to whatever happens in our scene, right? Something will happen and we knee-jerk react to it, right? So, but the thing is when you can reflect on a lot of this stuff and you can take time to see why the decisions were made and understanding as well that these tournament organizers are also a business that are trying to make money off of being a tournament organizer, the same way players, the
We're
same
actually
way
just
we are.
trying to not lose money.
Yes, well, that is
That's
also a
mostly
goal.
the goal right now.
But we're on. But for the TOs that have stuck with it, right?
Yeah.
And I know that I'm the number one ESO shill, right? I understand that. That's what the golden boy. I think they called me for a period of time.
Some people.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
But the thing is, like these businesses don't even really know what they're doing, right? They're kind of no, like really, like none of us know what we're doing. Hey, Chad, be a commentator for Counter-Strike. All right, I'll talk about something I enjoy, and now I'm learning about like having to interject storylines
And how to build emotion and
all
to,
these-
yeah.
And what a diaphragm is.
Yeah. Are we talking
That's
about
birth
ladies'
control, right?
contraception or?
No, what? No, like.
You and,
What? No,
you and I went to the same
Wait,
place.
what? No, I mean, like, don't you have to like control your voice with your?
A diaphragm.
Yell from-
diaphragm is
You should yell from your stomach, not your throat.
Yeah, but a
right?
diaphragm is also
It's like a female condom.
It's a female contraceptive for sex.
That's the name for it.
Yeah.
It's called a diaphragm.
And
Yeah.
it's called the same as a body part.
Yeah, it blocks the semen. That's pretty much what it does.
I know what
Yeah.
a contraceptive.
Builds
Yeah.
a wall.
One of the biggest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's probably only 99.9% effective as well.
So it's Chinese.
The Great Wall. It could be. It could be. It's not. It's not so Trump. Well, maybe it's Trump inspired.
It's
China
a
needs to
little
have more babies.
Yeah, I think a lot of countries.
I'm
do.
gonna have to order more beer.
Sorry, Chad.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Get me one as well. I'd like another Heineken, thank you, Yanko. But yeah, I feel we've been impassioned here and probably helped by the travel and the beer. I haven't traveled, but I cleaned, which I feel is like traveling.
Yeah.
But you traveled. Did you travel?
I traveled.
In economy.
Economy.
Business?
I was gonna upgrade. I got on the flight, and there were plenty of business class and premium economy seats open. And I asked them.
No upgrade.
No, I asked them what the cost was, and they told me. But when I got to my seat, my row was empty.
So you just were happy with that?
Yeah,
Thank you,
Like
Yanko.
I love business class as much
But
as
you
the
don't
next
need it if
guy.
you have a
But
full
if I
row.
got 3 seats to myself, I can stretch out. I can lay across the whole thing. I can have a good time. I don't need to spend. I think it was $700 to upgrade, and I was like, that's $700. I don't need to spend.
Yeah. Well, you got a kid now. Diapers are expensive.
Yeah, I got a college fund.
You excited to get some actual sleep tonight?
Dude, that's the funny thing about it.
Don't say
is
it. Every parent fucking says this. Tell the truth. I want to hear the truth.
I was telling Yanko this on the way over.
You can't handle the truth.
We have not had much issue with the sleep. I say that. I hope Jane doesn't listen to this podcast because she's probably struggling with sleep right now.
Okay.
While I'm away, but baby sleeps fine. We sleep for 3 hours, wake up and feed for 45 minutes or so, and back to bed. And because I've been traveling around the world for 8 years and jet lagged at all times and weird hours and different time zones, the sleep has not been a problem.
Okay.
Sleep has really not been a problem. And I had friends like my first week like messaging me like, "Are you guys alive? Are you guys doing okay? Is
You're like,
everything
"I'm
is
fine."
everything going all right?" And I also,
You went out to a restaurant. I saw
you-
on your
yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Did
we
you
already brought
message
the baby
him
out to the restaurant.
Huh?
Did you message him this? Are you okay?
I don't think so.
No, not
Me
me.
neither.
None of you
So
guys
do
did.
we count as friends?
All my friends back home who have had kids.
We don't have any idea
All
about
right,
that.
yeah, we don't have kids. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah, Jack.
Like-
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, actually the hardest part about this baby during the first week has been responding to all of you motherfuckers asking me if I'm alive. Like I just don't want to respond to all this.
Damn. Well, that feels like me
But-
every day of the
Fuck
week.
I mean,
It wasn't us. We just established that.
no, but I mean, there's other complications. There's other difficulties to it. For me, just the sleep hasn't been an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
But yeah, we took her to a restaurant. We took her to we had rented a little one of those plastic heated igloos.
What?
What?
You ever seen this outdoor restaurant during the? Oh, well, I mean, you're from Australia, maybe not.
What?
We have these.
A
They're,
plastic
they're like
heated
these
igloos?
plastic igloo structures outside of the restaurant. They put a
Propane,
little
of course.
heater in it, and you go sit in it. It's nice and cozy and warm. It's.
Do you
insane.
have this
Why don't
thing
you just
for
sit
a
inside?
baby that you put it in and it's
A swing.
rocking it by its own,
Oh,
but it's
cradle.
electric?
Yeah, but I mean, it's the baby's a little too young.
Too young for
one of
that.
those.
Yeah, I saw this thing when my nephew was born a couple of months later. I was like, if you could figure this out for an adult person,
I'm sure they can.
Yeah.
you would make millions.
What for a bed?
You sit in that and you just need two things.
They
for
have
a-
those there in
no,
cheap
no, you don't know,
motels.
Chad. It's like. No, you don't know what I mean, Chad. It's not like a cradle. It's like this. It looks like half an egg, you know.
Half an, all right, like
It's
a cocoon.
Yes.
All right,
and
all
it's
right.
like you sit, it sits, and that's it's like does the fucking shake,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
the
how you
rocking,
have
the rocking,
the rocking of the baby. It
Not
does
supposed
it
to
for
shake a
you.
baby.
Yeah, rocking. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have fucking. Oh, Mister, I know it all now. That he says fucking how should I breathe? Asshole.
Oh dear.
I'll drink to that.
But how's Jane doing? Because I imagine it's not so much. Will she listen to this?
No, she won't.
Well, we know you don't listen to the episodes.
So why would she?
No, she actually does.
She do it just to hear your voice.
She listens.
Jason,
She
because
listens
you
every
never
episode.
Call, you
I don't know.
asshole.
I don't know how in tune she is from start to finish, but she plays them all. I hear her listening to them when she's.
And we have no timestamps now because Chad's fucking lazy.
No, fuck timestamps because this whole conversation is.
We have
predicated-
timestamps the last episode, and someone still asked for a recap of what you said about FaZe.
Dude, I was mad about that. I was mad about that. So I put timestamps. I needed 2 tweets for the timestamps because there wasn't enough
so many
characters.
timestamps.
And there's a timestamp, make FaZe great again. And there's this guy who's asking the replies, what did he say about FaZe? It's like, bro, I timestamped it for you. It's like a 3-minute, a 5-minute thing. Like, can't you just listen to it? Someone needs to, like, you can't consume that much content. That's the level of your ADHD.
But they're not really
or
interested,
ADD.
right? That guy's not really interested. He's just being a pain in the ass. But look, I do want to get back to the Jane topic here. I want to let the record show, right? I want to let the record show that I'm a Jane fan. The only time I was a little bit like, Jane, come on, man, is where she was being antagonistic in one of my relationships.
She does like to. She used to like to stir the
Yeah.
pot.
She loves to stir the
So-
relationship pot.
But you deserve someone to stir your pot.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And I'm glad that Jane had the balls to do so. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to get that out on the record.
Oh, so you're thanking her.
Yeah.
Bring it back down to reality, you know.
Yeah. Because it helped me see the forest for the trees.
It sounds, but that's tough sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember exactly what situation that was, but yeah,
sure.
she's doing good.
Yeah. No, as long as she's doing
yeah,
well.
yeah, she's doing
yeah.
fine. Again, maybe not so much now that I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'll say this whole.
Yeah, because she can't live without a man. God
But
damn
she's
it,
taking
Jason!
care
It's
of a
not the
newborn child.
1700s anymore. Jesus.
I will
Christ.
say, especially as an American,
As an American, put your hand on your heart.
as an American,
Yeehaw.
the idea, we're very lucky that with me being a freelance commentator, I kind of get to dictate my schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
And she also works, she does like coding and like website design and all that and front end development. And I'm probably getting all that wrong.
She works on computers.
She codes things.
Let's hope.
Okay,
She's
she
not
works
listening
on
to this
she works on
episode.
computers.
But anyways, she gets like 3 or 4 months of like maternity leave, which is really, really good for the States. I know
Okay.
like in certain parts of Europe, like I know in the Scandinavia, it gets like a year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but they got oil. Well, they can afford that.
Yeah, but
is
He's
what I
talking
mean.
about
in
Norway.
America.
He's talking about Norway. We got
That's
oil
Norway.
too.
America's the most powerful country in the world.
We got
Dinko.
fracking.
Yeah, but they don't have oil.
All of our money goes
Oh,
to the
not as
military.
much.
It's fun. Anyways, I can see how this whole experience would be an absolute fucking nightmare if you didn't have those
Yeah,
kinds of
for
things.
sure.
So like that's brought like a new appreciation to being like, how is this not a
But
thing?
that's one of the keys right here with the way that we get to live our life. And I've had this with my different partners over the years is like when I'm away, and it's hard for me to have the focus on what's going on at home or what's going on, I'm focused on the event. But then when I'm home, I'm there
Yeah, you're home
for like
100%.
7 days, for 24 hours. I'm not fucking leaving, right? Like I'm there and I'm present. I'm 70% present and I'm a little bit.
Well, that's
you
your
know-
max anyway.
Yeah, right. I only got
Unless it's casting a Counter-Strike game.
and then I got
110%.
then I give it the
And in a
sauce.
show match, you're 120%.
In
you
a show match,
asshole.
I'm fucking 500%, man. Over 9,000, the power level right there. But a Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
inspired.
did you see the movie Lucy?
No.
I hate show matches.
So that would be, it's a short movie. Luc Besson, Scarlett Johansson is in it. It's
Someone's
like,
vacuuming outside.
it's
not
like
fucking dry. One
it's
second.
like what would
Oh, it's your
happen
dryer?
if you would unlock 100% of your brain potential.
Yeah, I
Isn't
saw this.
that-
This is
Yeah, he didn't
what's his
see it.
name?
So that's Kassad. That's Chad when he's playing a show match.
Speaking of Kassad.
The bounty.
Oh, let's talk about the bounty. Let me go turn the dryer off. One
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
You guys keep talking.
Yeah.
That was Bradley Cooper, right? And that Limitless or something where he takes the
That's
pill.
Limitless, but this is Lucy. It's a different one. It's Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman. It's like only an hour and 10
Gotcha.
15
And
minutes.
she's like a assassin that was trained at a young age or something like that.
No, that's a different Scarlett Johansson movie.
Jesus
This is she was a mule for a new drug.
Sure.
And it burst in her stomach during travel, and
That sucks.
It
I've been
unleashed
there.
a massive amount. So like, because it was like that or whatever, she unlocked 100% of her brain capacity over like 2 days.
Yeah, yeah.
But also it's like a fatal amount. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like a cool, it's like a what if.
That was a good 2 days.
Yeah, she had
she's
a
probably a great
whale
time.
of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kassad. I love that the bounty thing. I never saw that coming, but I thought like it was like fuck it, why not? He
Now,
can-
is it 1,000 total or 1,000 per?
No,
1,000
total.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
weak
He's
shit.
not made of money.
Well, come on, man. Like
He's not made of money.
I don't know, he's been posting his betting wins
you
all
look,
the-
you look at the teams they've been losing to. If that was like a random, well, I guess in the US it's never enough, but
They lost it, so they didn't make the.
I think it's just a cool move from him.
They
Like,
didn't
no,
make
it's
the
a great move from
RMR.
him.
Just to be clear, EG didn't make the RMR. They lost to team
which
one.
is a
Yeah.
travesty.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? Like, so Kassad's obviously taken this to the next level here, and a lot of people have come out. And you made a tweet today, Yanko. I saw Scrawny made a tweet
I'm
today.
opening it.
Kassad made a tweet today. A lot of people saying, "Hey, like, we're not targeting the players here. We're targeting the organization for managing things poorly and being a bit outspoken with a exhibition match win at the start of the year."
I quoted Scrawny posted a tweet with like the rest of their season kind of because
Yeah.
they didn't make shit and whatever.
It's kind of fucked.
And I saw this tweet on Reddit. The user is Wind Tunnel 1. Shout out. And his comment was, their non-players start shit on socials, then ghost, leaving the players holding the bag. Utterly and completely incompetent management. And I took a screenshot of it, I posted it, and I tweeted out, this Reddit comment describes what happened perfectly. I said, I feel bad for the players. They were under an unreasonable amount of scrutiny through no fault of their own. Hopefully they can still bounce back even if they go their own separate ways. And I've said this
That's
a
not
couple of
true.
times on this podcast. I know you, Jason, wouldn't know this because you never listen to them and you're not on them. But I did say, like, this is an unhealthy amount of pressure and scrutiny for a roster that's, like, not expected. They're not a contender team. Right?
No,
like,
not
for
at all.
them, a huge success, they're like complexity. A huge success would be to make the playoffs.
Yes.
A good thing would be to beat a good team in a best of three, to show signs of promise, right? There's
they've done a couple
there's a
times.
lot of teams in this bracket, right?
Yeah.
That we never talk about or don't talk about them at least to this amount. Why? Because there's no reason until they do something. We talk about your contenders, we talk about your teams that are struggling a lot or new teams or whatnot. So if you ever want anything, and Jason, you've coached recently, I have, you don't want your team to be talked about. You want to just be able to work
Stay
in
under
peace
the
and
radar.
quiet,
It's like, please
stay
leave me
under
alone.
the radar,
Yeah.
right? And and that's hard with teams like, Liquid, FaZe, whatever, big names, big orgs, and EG is like a sort of a name as an org, to be honest, it's been worsening over the past years. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was a massive name. Even
Yeah,
in
people were
Counter-Strike.
saying, can we get EG back in Counter-Strike?
Yeah, exactly.
When's EG
right?
coming back in?
So it was great, but whatever. The point being is and I haven't seen a single player draw attention to the team, talk shit outside of Hex during the game,
Which
trash
is fine,
talking,
I like it.
which is fine,
Yeah,
right?
it's great.
None of them was even when they got the win, was oh, what up now, or some shit like that. Where's everyone now? No, it was only the people from the management,
Yeah.
and not even a direct coach. I don't remember. Warburg had a sort of sarcastic comment after the heroic win or whatever. But it was, guys some guys like Valence or here and there, whatever. I don't even give a fuck about it. So it's why are you doing this? You care. This is you not understanding your job, your role, nothing. This is you putting yourself in front of the team because you care more about you being right or proving people wrong than you care about your team doing well. I watched those games, Chad. You casted some of their games. That's a typical crumble under pressure sort of a loss.
Sure.
The Counter-Strike they're playing, it's fine.
It's not bad.
It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
The players have their moments. Sure, they need upgrades. Probably the Hex Twiz thing, probably not a long-term solution. But also, maybe they're not playing well because they're under an insane amount of pressure, an insane amount of scrutiny.
Well, also,
right?
just to jump in here, because I think that's a key point where when you make those kinds of comments as someone who's part of the management of the team, you kind of actually handicap your own project that you're part of as well, where they might not be a long-term solution, but the entire plan that you have set up is this pipeline of bringing up talent. So
pipeline.
there's going to be a learning curve, right?
Oh, of course.
There's going to be bad games. There's going to be bad results, and it's just like you're even just handicapping the development that is the entire point of this project to begin with.
And I will say though, sorry, Chad.
No,
but,
you're right.
I will say though, the reason I'm not obviously into it as Kassad is, but I am to some extent. And he's the one who's kind of bringing a little bit of spotlight on management in general. Is something
it's
that he
kind of
likes
his
to
brand
mention,
right
Yeah.
now.
right? Sort of, and it is. I think it's a good comment, to take a closer look at some of these people who work in these positions because, you're looking for ways to improve and either lose less money or make more money. And we've seen a couple of examples now of big name orgs being run into the fucking ground
True.
by people in management positions. EG is not even Astralis. The greatest roster.
Some interesting decisions, yeah.
It's now it's whatever. So there's a couple in there. There's good examples as well over
Yeah.
time. Vitality probably being one of them, and now it's a little bit shaky. But you look ever since they came into Counter-Strike, it's been improvement after improvement. starting over. But I think this is what bothers me. Like, I am all for accountability. Like, you need to hold people accountable, and all for responsibility. I take responsibility. I'm responsible. If you go back, you look at when I was a coach, I had never said this player fucked up. No, I was always like, I need to do better. We didn't, whatever, because that's also your job. Your job is to take the hits for the players, like to shield the players so they can work in peace, and you will deal with the flag. Who gives a fuck, right? So I think it's like
the worst part of the job.
Yeah, I mean, but whatever. People can never know what's going on, and that's fine. Like, as long as your players understand and you're all on the same page. But is someone going to get fired at some fucking point from this org? What does that Casper guy from Astralis have to do to get fired? What do these EG people have to do to get fired? Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine? No. This bothers me, because that fucking director of performance also called Kasat out. A middle-aged white man is coming at me on Twitter, right? Imagine if he said that about her,
but we don't live in that world.
Or if that was someone else, wouldn't there be immediate calls for that person to get canceled, which I'm against. I hate cancel culture. But at the very least, take a fucking the most bullshit thing, like a couple of classes about whatever the fuck.
Sure, I know what you're saying.
Education. Right? No, it's just like, because it's like Kassad, who gives a fuck about him, right? He can get attacked on social media. He can get branded as a middle-aged white man. And that's okay, right?
Well, but
that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. That's not, we have different, but that's a whole different topic, and I don't want to get into that.
Well, we could start. Yeah, Jason.
But I just want to.
This is what we've been dealing with for the past decade.
I just want to call that bullshit out. Like, those things are not okay, and that's not fine. And EG needs to someone at that organization needs to take accountability. Needs to be accountable for these results. Whose fault is it? Because I think the least fault is on the players.
Of course. But Yanko, here's a point, right? You're getting fired up about this, and I like it. I love the passion. Don't let me stop the passion here. But let's go through the great Counter-Strike teams in history and talk about how many of them actually curated a good roster as opposed to the teams that they just picked up who were good. Fnatic, for example. Did they curate that roster, or did they just get picked up? They just got picked up, right? The only point of that change is when Devilwalk took a step back, said, I'll coach, get Olaf, get fucking Crims. That's where Devilwalk made the decision as an active player in the team. Think about LDLC, right? Then they went on to be envious, right? LDLC got lucky. They had the team. You think about Astralis. Astralis picked up the squad, and that was when they were meant to be like part owners of the team. But they were already a team. At no point, right, maybe FaZe, but that took them a long time to go from G2 to Kingwin, whatever the order was, into FaZe, of chopping and changing plays. It's not... When have the orgs ever been the ones responsible for great Counter-Strike teams? When? Has there been any?
Yeah, probably, if you give me some time to think about it.
I feel like
like one or two.
It's not about the players.
Not many. I think your point is a good one.
Someone would have said Astralis, but you see how they are when they don't have that team anymore. So actually, it's probably more about the way the players and Zonic was in that
Worked
team that made it look like a thing that was like elite and stuff. So I don't know. But the thing is, it's always like there's a core, and then you change a piece or two, and then it becomes the thing. So I think you look at what people were trying to bring, and I think if you're trying to make the case no one gets it right in their first try.
No one gets it right at all. Who's done it? Astralis is in the bin. NIP's in the bin.
Fnatic's doing a decent job right now.
But Fnatic is still partially in the bin. And remember when
that's not the same Fnatic.
Remember when I called them out last year around this time? Like, I was the guy, fucking, what are Fnatic doing? And I tried to think, where did that come from? Why did I have so much disdain towards Fnatic? Like, why did I care? And I cared because, like, I was an original Fnatic fan, especially in CSGO, because I was friends with the JWs and the Flushes, right? And the Schneiders and the Devilwalks and the Pronaxes. I spent time with them, and we played a lot of Counter-Strike together back in the early days.
You're a fanboy.
2013, we played a lot of CS together. I learned a lot from them, right? I watched them win their first major. I was the only people in an auditorium full of Swedes cheering for them to win, and they won, right? And that was fucking great to see. But then to see the org be mismanaged after the fact, because it was, right? They're another team that was mismanaged after the fact, right? Sure, the players probably had some control, and then everything went to shit, but nobody knows the right answer. Just like the ESL or Blast or Valve or anybody. We're all making it up, Yanko.
Well, I'm willing to give Fnatic some slack, to cut them some slack, because they want to be all Swedish, and there hasn't been that much Swedish
Sweden's
talent.
been in the
Like they
mud.
had to go with Bronk, who was like 16 at the time. He wouldn't even play tournaments for the first 3 months until he turned 17 because of this fucking stupid rule and fucking whatever. But they stuck through it, and Fnatic got screwed by COVID as well.
Yes.
You remember Fnatic
They were
won,
good in
like
the
they were
start
like
of the
top,
online
they were
era.
number one at like early.
They won season 11 of Pro League.
Yes,
when COVID
and
started.
early 2020 they were like maybe number one or something like that. But you know
was commentating.
when you have players like Flusha, JW, Crims, if they were gonna play online CS, they would have retired, right?
Yeah,
Like had the same thing
they
with
don't
all
play
of
for
in
that.
phase. So obviously their performance is gonna go down, and that took a toll, and the team sort of faded out, similar to Astralis to that time. Mouse went a little bit down as well. Remember, Mouse was like they won last 3 tournaments in 2019.
Yeah.
And they were about to disband before that. So I can't blame them as much. And also, they realized it and they turned it around. Like they're in the last year and a half, they're one of the better managed teams. Like they built this roster
That's true.
themselves.
If you're going to use an example,
and
that's true.
And sure, they're not world beaters yet, but they have definitely exceeded expectations. And the IEM Katowice was the first like sort of disappointing tournament that you would say for them,
Yeah.
that they performed
The complexity loss,
below
right?
expectations.
They lost the complexity?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the problem too is esports isn't at a point where you can actually build up like a management team that is just focusing on Counter-Strike entirely, right? Like the teams that we think would make good additions and make good progression in terms of younger players, we don't really attribute them to like Navi. We attribute it to Blade.
Sure.
You know, we
I see what
attribute
you're
it to like people, coaches, and we attribute it to GMs.
Sure, but there was someone who hired Blade.
True.
You know, for me,
Well,
it's simple.
changing now, right?
If you're an esports org, you have head of esports.
Yeah.
That's the guy who's head of all your esports teams.
Yeah.
He's the guy who hires the GMs for all these
So
games.
Harris Pilton,
let's
in our
say,
example here of Navi.
Let's
Nice.
say, right? You have a guy who hires all the GMs. Let's call them general manager, right? And that guy hires the staff and has a vision of how he wants a team to play the game. This has to be someone who's very knowledgeable about the particular game he's doing. The head of esports doesn't need to know everything about every game.
True.
He needs to know enough. He actually needs to know more about people and competition and all this stuff than about the games themselves, and needs to pick the right people to then do the GM and picking the players and the team, or making the changes within the team and building a sort of I was feeling a fucking pipeline. I don't want to say a pipeline, but sort of, I was going to troll,
You
but
don't
I
like
don't
the
want to,
pipe?
no, I don't want to say that. It's like establish sort of a culture and like a way of doing things, right?
Sure.
And that involves then the GM needs to hire a head coach, an assistant coach /
analyst,
analyst,
yeah.
or 2 analysts, a mental coach, right? Like sports psychologist
A
who can be
physio,
part-time.
a chiropractor,
No, you don't need
nutritionist,
You don't need
chef.
but these are the things you need to have: a head coach and a mental coach. And then, depending on the players you have, if you have a head coach like Robin with FaZe,
Then get an
who is a good
analyst.
one, then get an analyst as well, which they have. The guy from Mouse,
Innershine.
Kerrigan brought him with him.
Yeah.
If you have a coach like Blade, then it's up to him whether he needs an
But
analyst,
then your
someone to help
manager's a
him
bit
out.
closer to the team, maybe,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
So and that's what you do, and then the manager hires a coach, and they have to be aligned on sort of the way we play Counter-Strike in terms
How
of
we're gonna
what's
conduct our
the best way
days.
to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
What's the sort of a regiment you want to be super strict? You want to be more loose. That depends on the org and the caliber of players you have. You have young players. You have Mouse. You're probably a little bit more strict. You have guys like FaZe. You're probably a little bit more loose, right? Like
Yeah.
because they are experienced and whatnot. And that's how you do it. It's as simple as that, right? And that's why I fucking hate again Robin getting snubbed for Coach of the Year awards, because
Well, you
that's
shoulda-
that's the
you know?
fucking one of the hardest thing to do, is to establish that fucking culture and get the players to forget about their ego and sacrifice themselves, to empty the backpack and play for each other and do all this shit. That's hard. That's harder than fucking finding a default that works. That's harder than finding
True.
3 good strats. That's harder than not dying to anti-ecos. It's harder. When we talk about teams that are going to win titles, that's harder. If you put someone like, if you want to get into the top 20, yes, you need someone who's only good with CS, because those people don't know how to play CS on a high level. But the people who know how to do it, this is going to sound ridiculous, but you need to help them want to do it.
No, I know what you're saying, because
Right?
when I watched this, like referring back to what I watched Full Swing and Breaking Point. No, seriously. And most of the time, they're just focused on the fucking mental. They're talking about elite level golf players and
Yeah.
tennis players.
Because it's also individual sport.
But yeah, and I wanted to get into something else with this too, as we do move on. But they're focused all on the mental, and it's the same with the Counter-Strike team. We all know when we've been playing, and there's discontent within the ranks. Like some guy, he just fucking hates some cunt. Like the way he just says, like the way he dies first, and he goes 2B. You know that the way he fucking says that grates on the fucking
passive
team.
aggression.
The thing that Rush doesn't
Annoying as
like,
shit.
right? See the headset that you have on right now.
Yeah.
So what I do, when I die, I'll just flick
Tilt
the mic up,
up.
and it'll make a noise, and that fucking tilts Rush off the face of the earth because when I play, I'm the guy calling the rounds, right? I'm the guy comment for people.
You can't even hold it back, can you?
I can't, and I'm never going to. I don't give a fuck,
It's
right?
good, yeah.
That's the way I play Counter-Strike, and you either fucking sign
I'll be your
up.
secondary caller.
There we go.
Not for matchmaking in the middle of a winter break.
I don't give a fuck.
I'll be the electronic to your boomage.
I'm not losing. I don't go into any Counter-Strike game to lose. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. Winning is fucking
Wait,
fun.
I'm so confused. I played all winter break with the same people that you played with, and we lost like twice across.
We don't
3
lose.
weeks. Okay. But you are obviously.
No. So we've been playing a bit more ES Portal and Face It
Sure,
recently. I've been trying to
sure.
bring the boys in, and obviously it's a higher pressure
that is.
environment
Yeah,
here.
that is a little bit,
There's
yeah.
the decision making is.
That's your mistake, Chad. You're bringing the wrong people in to Face It. Those are there's certain people in this talent team
I
are
want
matchmaking.
but I can see the potential. Like I look at a Harry Russell. He's got great aim. I can
Mate,
mold him.
mate.
He doesn't need to throw any nades. Give me all your nades, Harry. I'll flash for you. All you got to do is bop him. I can see I've got Harry. He's a refined piece of the puzzle. Hugo's grimy. Hugo's a grimy player. He's got to get stuck in behind the smokes,
He
taking
is.
a risk. That's the type
He
of player
communicates,
Hugo is.
though. That's nice.
He does communicate, but he's a grimy player, right? I'm not. Look, if I'm giving someone a deagle, it's Harry. It's not Hugo, right? That's the truth of the matter
You
here.
do got to fill the role as the veteran in that squad of people.
Hugo he's trying to feel the game. He's very touchy feely, and you got to put them in the right positions here. But we're deviating from the conversation. We're deviating from the point of here that we were discussing.
Sure.
And I forgot what that point was.
Nice.
So Yanko, anything exciting? I need to take a piss.
I think my biggest problem with this whole
On the way back, get another
I'm going to the
beer.
bathroom.
Get beer for me and
my biggest problem
Jason.
with this whole EG thing going on right now is like you're saying like when is someone gonna have to take accountability and responsibility for it? And I feel like the next step is EG just leaving Counter-Strike, which I like kind of
No,
mixed-
they don't need to leave Counter-Strike. Just
I know,
fire the fucking
they
people
don't need to.
who are making these decisions.
They don't
like,
need to,
fire them.
but I
fire
feel
them
like-
and get someone
I
else
feel like
who
they
knows
will.
what they're doing.
I feel like they will. I think that feels
Then
like
fuck them. They're made, like
Okay,
they,
I know, but-
I don't think they can do it because they bought into the slots.
yeah. That's
They can't
true.
leave that money
That'd
on
be
the
interesting.
table.
Yeah, that
and
would
it's
be.
not. They don't need to leave Counter-Strike. They don't.
No, they don't need to, but I think at this point, with how tarnished it is and how aggressive the community is towards them at the moment, I can see a
Yeah,
world
but
where
it
they
can't
just
get.
bail
But this
out.
is it. You hit rock bottom. Not making not making. This is not even G2 levels. This is not making the RMR. It's not making
Yeah,
the major from the RMR. So now is the time to fire all these people. Fucking fire them. You have 7 coaches,
not that kind of
6
an org.
assistant coaches. Then fire the CEO, or at least fire the person who's.
Well, now you're just
who's
being
responsible.
unreasonable.
I'm not.
You're
Well,
not.
No,
You're not,
okay, you don't
but
fire
you
CEO.
are.
Fire the person who's in charge of CS of Counter-Strike. Whoever is the CEO is not in charge of Counter-Strike. There's some person that's in charge of Counter-Strike that reports to the CEO. Fire that person right now. Fire them, right? And bring someone who knows what they're doing. For example, a person for that position might be someone like Fiflaren. No, Robin. Someone who knows CS, but it's also been around the business side of things and is mature enough as a person. Is older.
that would be the only play you could make if your
And
plan was to rehabilitate.
And then
the
that
image of the
person
org.
decides who they keep and who they don't keep out of all the people that are below, right? And that's it. I know it sucks. I hate when people lose jobs, but someone needs to fucking lose a job at some point, right? Like for things to turn around, what are you going to expect? Like, sure, they're trying to do something, multiple teams, whatever. And they don't want to reveal everything about it. Sure, it might be revolutionary so far. It's not working out, which doesn't mean it's shit. Maybe they just haven't found the right formula
I think more than
for
anything,
it. But this is the thing you do like quietly,
Oh, yeah,
and
please, 1 second.
not fucking bust about it like every chance you get, every time there's a result. Oh yeah, our thing is fucking working. You're all we're smarter than you. Like you don't even know how smart
was
we
a bit-
are. And
that
how
was
good.
ridiculous,
It's like fuck off. That's why I made the comment. It's not fucking rocket science. Counter-Strike, it's not rocket science. Are there small things and details you can improve? And like, did you maybe find an extra way of being more efficient and making practice efficient and all this shit, probably.
I think for me it's just like this is like I mean I think a lot of it is, I don't want to say it's getting overblown, but I think this whole management and Kassad situation is just kind of masking the fact that I think to a certain degree, I don't know, this might be the wrong perspective on it, but I've just accepted that this is where North American Counter-Strike is at. Like if you're going to go for this pipeline routine in North America at the moment, these are the setbacks you're going to have. And you're going to have to deal with these growing pains. No. And they're going to be really fucking painful at some point.
Can I get to the crux of this?
You can't not make the RMR. With these players, you can't not make the RMR, and the players have failed because they didn't.
What do you mean? What do you mean with these
No,
players?
I kind
Who
of
did they lose to, Jason? Did you know?
I know.
Did you recognize a single fucking name on those teams they lost?
No,
and you were
but-
from NA and you didn't.
But
I
don't-
fucking didn't.
But don't say like these players, because we've just talked about how there's growing pains with guys like Hex and Nealon and like half their team Wiz, half their team.
Yeah, there's
three players
there's
of their
growing
teams.
pains to them making the playoffs of fucking Katowice. There's no growing pains to them making the fucking RMR.
Yeah,
But
I agree
wait. Let's get to the crux of this. Why the fuck are we talking about EG?
You started it.
Well, I didn't bring up the Kassad shit. Don't get me started on that.
Yanko had a couple beers and thought you were Kassad for a
I
moment.
don't I don't give a fuck. Here's the way I work.
no
This
food
is
this
how
whole
I work, right?
That's my lunch.
It's all right. We'll order some pizza soon. We got people coming around soon. This is the way this shit
didn't
works.
pre-order it?
No, well, I'm gonna order at 7. I wanna make sure she's fresh, mate. Now listen, this is the thing. Why do we give a fuck? Right? Because they're doing their thing. Why are we spending so much time talking? No, we can talk about them. I don't care, but tell me why.
I think we've said everything there is to be said.
Justify why we're talking about them, and then we can talk about them. Because I don't give a
No, we've done
fuck.
enough. No, we've done enough talking. A lot. Some of it has been just like back and forth, but
It doesn't actually. They don't actually interest me in that.
No, you know
anyway.
why I
Okay,
talk
here we
about
go.
it?
Here we go. Tell me why. I
talk
want to know why.
No, I talk about it because
he's a
it's not
middle-aged-
fair to the fucking players. It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair to be put in that sort of a situation by people who are not on the server.
They're paying the bills, though, Yanko.
So what? That means they can like put all this pressure
That's
on you
how I
for
look
no
at this.
reason?
This is how I look at this. Listen, just let me frame this for
All
you.
right, if that's the case, Chad, then they can keep paying the fucking bills and keep
Exactly.
paying their salaries.
Exactly. Let
But
me
that's
frame
such a moronic That's such a moronic environment to have to play in that I don't even know where to
But
begin.
you're right. But this is why it doesn't matter. Because if a team is willing to be an ESL and a Blast partnered team and have a Counter-Strike team with 15 players and 17 coaches and 342 different fucking people attached to it, and they want to spend all of that money, and they want that money to come back as nothing, that is completely up to them. They think they know what they're doing. Let them do what they're doing. Why are we talking about them? Let's see the difference. Let's see the difference here. Let's not talk about this team anymore. Anybody, right? This memo's not going to get out there.
Now that they're not going to Paris, I think the conversation on them is just going to die.
But it probably won't,
The
because
expectations are so
they'll be at
small
the
now.
Blast Showdown.
'Cause, I
They'll
mean,
be at the next
well,
Blast season.
I
They'll
think
be in Pro League.
I think now at this point, the implication that we've gotten to is that we know how all the different podcasts talking about EG we've had where we say time is going to tell about this plan.
Well,
of
we're
action
at
that
the
they
time
have.
now, aren't we?
Yeah, now we know, and it failed.
But the thing is,
So like we don't have to have that conversation anymore.
no, but look, but the thing is, we can choose to talk about
But
teams,
that's the
or we can
problem. I
choose
don't know
not
if-
to.
I don't know if it failed because
It could still work.
No, it failed.
it
failed.
the-
It is a good idea in principle, I think. In my opinion, I think the idea of having these like two teams is probably what I would have gone with. They've gone with 3, but having this pipeline of talent that you can build up and
Someone's gonna
supplement,
get the pipe soon, mate.
I think it's a
Trying to get the
good
pipe.
plan. I think it's a really difficult plan at the moment in the North American region where you can barely put together one good team.
You see that's the I can actually disagree. I actually disagree with that because I think the players didn't get to show what they're capable of or showcase that plan, whatever the fuck it is, because of the idiots who made it made
So you think-
made the environment almost unplayable for them.
Wait.
He's saying the pressure.
They've had
He's talking about the
plenty
pressure.
of chances to show that this can work. The players were treated
What about the
unfairly
heroic
by
game?
their own management. However, you do have to put some responsibility on the players and say, you have had these resources, you have had these salaries, you've been part of this thing now for over a year. There should be more results. And I don't care how much pressure you had. If you're going to say they're losing to these no-namers that we don't even recognize any of the names, they should be able to do that without this plan in play. Like they should be able to do that regardless of what's happening around them.
Would you say that G2 was supposed to make the major no matter what?
Automatics won a major. Like Breeze was
that was a
an
fluke.
incredible fucking talent out of nowhere.
He
These
was the
guys
lowest rated
should
player
be
in that
able.
loss.
they should be able to beat these teams. Yeah, that was another thing. But like that's
Yeah,
talking
but
about the
G2
actual
was
game.
supposed to be in Rio, and they weren't. Why? Were their players
They
not good
shat
enough
the
to
bed.
beat one win? No,
It's
they
such
shat
an
the bed
incre-
because
it's
of
such an
pressure, because they
unreasonable
didn't know.
comparison. It's such
How?
an unreasonable
No, why?
comparison.
It's a perfect comparison.
Because G2 and EG are in completely different fucking places.
Yes, and
But they-
G2 didn't make the major from the RMR, and EG didn't make the RMR from the close qualifier. I think it's a fair comparison.
And they should be in the same conversation because they're both Goliath organizations as far as esports is concerned.
And now G2
No,
is winning.
you're crazy.
G2 is
EG
winning
is a Goliath
tournaments.
organization in terms of name value from a decade ago.
They're part owned by Wolverhampton, whatever the fuck they're called.
What does
Is
that
that what
mean?
they're called? There's
It's
a fucking football
it's
team.
a Premier League team.
So what?
Wolverhampton.
What does that mean?
Wolves.
They got a shitload of money.
So they got a big name sponsor, and all of a sudden they're supposed to win.
I don't think it's a sponsor. I think it's a part fucking owner of the
Okay,
organization.
they got a big name
Aren't
part
they in
owner of
League
the
of Legends?
organization.
Are
Yeah,
they're in Valorant.
I think they're in Valorant.
I don't think
yeah.
G2's
Yeah,
in
they are
Valorant, right? Didn't
yeah.
G2 get snubbed?
Well, because of
G2 got
Ocelot.
snubbed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. EG's
Then
already
no.
doing it. I saw Potter the other day. She was coaching him over
Yeah,
there in
yeah,
the
yeah.
VCT lock-in. She
No,
was having a good time.
Look, I think at some point you have to put some responsibility on the players to say, regardless of what's happening outside around the game, you should be able to win these.
Let's
games.
just put it this way: if I was getting paid as much money as what I assume they're getting paid, and was one of the top tier,
I don't think it's as
orgs,
high as you think.
But let's say it was still fucking $7,000 a month. Let's say it was $7,000,
Okay.
right? I was getting paid $2,500. If we ever lost a game in Australia, getting paid $2,500 a month to play professionally while everybody else was left in the fucking mud, what am I doing? Like, am I not trying? Right? Like, what?
But that's the thing. I think they are. I think the players are trying. I think they're working extremely hard.
They're trying to come up with the way they want to play
and
the
they're
game.
trying to, I think their answer was just to play more, try to do more, try to fix every single little thing. And I've been in teams like that, even as a player, but as a coach too, where, it becomes diminishing returns. And like the problem isn't the Counter-Strike. Like it's not putting more hours. It's like,
Okay, wait. Oh, go on. Sorry.
no, it's like making it easier to play, like more enjoyable to play. Like it's not the same scale, it's on a smaller scale, but that's what happened to G2. G2 didn't change roles, it didn't change players. The coaches left them and the manager left them, and then they had their analyst as a coach, and they kind of got on the same page. They had one of those team talks, right?
Those team talks, we've all had them.
No, yeah, we've all had them, and FaZe has had them before my time as well, when they would lose the first game of the tournament and already had their backs against the wall, and they go on to win the whole fucking thing with the standings. So these things work because that's when you feel like shit's like hit the fan, and you have to let it all out and kind of be real.
But this is
be
true.
real and not bullshit each other, and that's what they did.
He's
And they were like, can we do this together or can we not? Is there someone who doesn't? And they thought they could. They had a boot camp. It went really well. Copenhagen didn't work out. And then what happened? They're the second, they made some fucking historic achievements with the same players, with the same thing. Why? Because they're in the zone. They're fucking found it. They're in that flow state. And it doesn't matter. It's a game where Nico has an average final at best, and they win 3-1 without too much problems. Like there's, and that's
I want to build off this.
powerful.
We need to build off this, though, because this is key. I remember in my teams, when I was in Sydney Underground with Boomza, Tegs, Top Gun, and Huck, right? That was my team. And I was just some young 18-year-old kid who got picked up to play for this team. Everybody else from the Eastern States. They liked me because I was loud. I looked all right on camera, and I could frag all right? It wasn't my main attribute.
I like
but
how that's the last thing
I could
you
definitely
said.
shoot, right?
I was loud and I looked good.
I like to be self-deprecating
Pretty
about my
boy
playing
Chad.
career. But regardless, the point, and everyone was pretty handsome back then on CGS, so it wasn't, the Clown and Mo and K-Sharp was in there. But long story short, my point here is we had those where everything gets broken down, right? There's discontent that gets bred within because people aren't open and honest, and we don't know how to communicate because we're all fucking teenagers. We're in our 20s. We don't know how to talk to each other, right? And then we have these things where shit's not going well. So it's a fucking mental breakdown for 5 grown men plus the manager, the GM of the team, Rax. His name was Ben. We would have a mental breakdown in a fucking room where they would be yelling at each other. And these are all fucking huge boys. Booms and Tegs and Top Gun are giants, bro. And I remember before I joined, Soldier, which was Top Gun's brother, used to be in the team. So Booms and Tegs, brothers, huge. Soldier and Top Gun, both of them Kurdish. They're not backing down from shit. They had each other pinned up against walls during these arguments. I swear to God, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was
You're
fucking
levitating.
I've seen
those
some
arguments.
people in the old days punched in the face over.
I remember Rattlesnake got in a fight with fucking Clown, right? You remember Clown from Optics? With Clown in Fatality's room as we were all playing Mario Kart. right? And they were yelling at each other. There's a yelling match going on. This is during the CGS days. But that's a fight. That's less about what I'm talking. But these teams, they have these like breakdowns together, and then they build back up from there. And that's because everyone's happy to be honest and vulnerable with each other.
Dude,
and you talk the truth.
You're
bullshit.
competing. You want to win, right? And of course, there's going to be tensions when you lose. And you're losing, and you keep losing, right? And you're trying to figure out why. And that's when, but it's very difficult. We're still growing. Like you and me were sitting in that chat with Edward and Lars and you've said even like I didn't have these mechanisms when I was playing to have. This would have been very helpful. Like we didn't know shit.
We had no idea.
Even as a coach, like I see now, mostly because I'm older, I'm a more mature human being. Like I would be a way better coach now just because of that fact than I was then. Because I was so zoned in on the Counter-Strike, I didn't understand as much how important this other thing is, right? But we've evolved since then, thankfully. And it's just one of those things where like you kind of have to understand that and be on top of that and get people on the same page and channel that properly, of discontent with the results. Yes, but okay, let's be real. Why is this happening? Is our Counter-Strike sound? Are we like, it is. Okay, so then what's the problem? Our players are underperforming in pressure situation. Why is that? And you get to the bottom of these things and try to fix them. And if you can't, and if there's someone who's maybe just not on that level, then you make changes or whatnot. But this is our generation of playing. Is like you try to give criticism to a guy, constructive criticism.
He gets his nose put on a job.
You just get deflection. You just but what did you do in this round?
Yeah.
That's the first thing that this is, Balkan Counter-Strike. That's the way. It's like, bro, I'm not. I'm not saying I don't make mistakes, but let's try to, this is a round, it's set, and and you did this. It's like, I'm not trying to, we're not gonna get kicked out of the team. Let's just try. It's just about getting better together. But that's 10 years ago, 15 years ago. This was like an impossible thing to make people understand.
I went off at someone, Yanko. I went off at a teammate who pushed Boiler versus an Eco in Source. He pushed Boiler versus an Eco, lost an M4, and then the M4 got like 2 or 3 more kills, right? And I fucking went off at him in a prac. Right? I went off at, what are you doing? You know you've got a rifle, we're against the Eco, why the fuck? He left the team. No, he seriously left the team.
Fuck him.
Yeah. I mean, amazing. I think, I don't know if I was... I don't want to say I was toxic when I was playing as an in-game leader towards the end, but I was very intense, because I was all in on that. I was like, we're doing this to try to make a name for ourselves in CSGO and everything. It's like anything beneath that, I'm not interested in that. I'll focus on my studies and I'll, live a normal quote unquote life.
Sucks for you guys, man. I was naff when I was playing. I was just chilling and fragging out.
You had your fucking brother,
doing a great job. Yeah, my brother was
doing everything for you.
Yeah, it was fucking perfect. I didn't have any stress. He came with all the strats, all the practices. But I did have to learn strategies during high school. He did give me like strats to like memorize during
What do you think
class.
I was doing, Jason? I was sleeping in economics.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we all played
We were all
Counter-Strike
playing
at
until
high
5
school,
in the,
man.
5 in the
but
morning,
that was
sleeping through the first
was
like
a
half
time.
of the
It's
school day.
like, you go to bed, you think about Counter-Strike, you wake up.
taking
Think
a
about
shit.
Counter-Strike.
You think about Counter-Strike, you
You're
go
in
to
math
school
class,
and you're
you're
like
writing out
drawing
tactics.
out, like
100%.
writing out
Yep,
tactics.
for sure.
It's been all the
Just 2
same.
in the notebook, and
I
you're doing
think-
X's and O's.
And I think, Chad, you're way better at what you said an hour ago at like kind of realizing how good we.
Ooh, who could that be?
Holy hell!
Someone's
Sorry to-
coming, but I do agree that this is a
Headphone warning.
privilege, but we are also human beings. Like you always like once you get used to something and you're a little bit content or whatever, you look for things that bother you that you want to make better, and I think that's fine. That's not us being ungrateful. I think that's just normal. But that's why this is the background on my phone, Jason. You remember this view?
Dubai, baby.
It's 2015. It was like I realized, like, kind of, bro, Counter-Strike brought me here. I would have maybe never seen this place or whatever. That sounds silly now because Dubai is really popular, but back then, whatever. So it's like sometimes, like, it's very important to touch grass. Is that the expression?
Yeah, I think that's
and kind of understand how good you have it and be humble and keep working and.
I know why. I just realized why G2 versus EG not making the RMRs is an unreasonable comparison.
Why?
Because
Enlighten
G2
me.
has Nico, one of the best players in the world of all time. They had a young op phenom of Modesty. Holy
There he
shit.
is. Right here.
Well, forget that conversation.
Oh, not this guy.
Oh my.
Thankfully, we just have one setup.
This is over. The podcast is. We're gonna have to shut.
All right,
this down.
finish it. Finish
No,
it.
you had
wait, it's,
you had one of the best players in the world.
I don't want to touch
They
this
had an
until
op
chat comes
phenom.
in.
They have Hunter. They have like
Chat
10
sits
times
there.
better players than anyone on EG. Like, how is that a comparison? Again, there's no point. What's up, boys?
No, I hear you. No, but it is because it's not about them winning the major. It's about making it out of the fucking close quali, Jason.
This entire, let's be
like
real.
the level of the playing field is different. Yes, you have Dinko, one of the best riflers in the world, but he has to play I don't know who. Here, you have to play a guy who's like 13.
Let's just say
Or
this.
a guy who's working part-time at Five Guys, flipping burgers, and then hops on the server and kicks out a guy who has 20K a month.
Let's. Oh man, it's yeah.
All right,
I don't want to talk about EG anymore.
We've just had a change in dynamics. So
Yeah,
look,
we did have a change
so-
in dynamics.
Let's before all
We'll
this.
work out the beer situation. So Trace and Henry are going to share a mic between the two of them. They're used to sharing things, so they can share a mic. Oh wait, hold up. Let me turn it on. Now it's on. It's
Right.
on now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. Can you hear yourself?
I'm back in Malta after covering the CCT Central
Hold up.
Malta.
Hold
You
up,
gotta
hold up.
talk. You gotta talk into the
Turn
mic.
up the, no,
Doug.
we just turn the
Into the
gain
mic.
on. Just turn the gain on.
This thing ain't on. I can't hear myself.
You should be on.
You gotta turn your
Turn this up. Turn that knob up.
Oh,
There you go. Can you hear
there we
yourself
go.
now?
Now there we go.
There he is.
Hello.
Let me get him a beer.
Hey Henry,
How's it going, boys?
it's been a while.
You got to forgive me for my appearance. I haven't slept.
Fantastic.
It's been a rough week.
Open what?
There was also a situation where Henry and I were walking here, and he might have stumbled, but the hills are pretty treacherous. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Corona or Stella?
Yeah, I mean,
Stella
either or.
Corona
Beggars
or-
can't be choosers.
This podcast is brought to you by Heineken, Stella, and Corona.
They'll hate that, Jason, by the way. So
How deep into this podcast are we?
About an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Okay.
we didn't talk about any counter
We're
strike.
done with it.
We've literally just been we've been yelling about EG for the past like 45 minutes for some reason.
Jason's trying to trigger me because he's American.
You do, bro. I'd have to do anything
That's
to
the
trigger you.
cover.
You were slamming on the table before I even opened my mouth.
Look, I just messaged Valens before I came over here.
How'd
And
that go?
Well, I just simply said, like, there's a way to do something positive out of all this negative attention. Maybe run some sort of show where it's like a Combine reality TV, 15 people competing for 5 slots, battle to the death.
And you
They
don't
did
have
that.
to do anything.
They did
if you
that
get
in
the 5
Sweden.
slots.
Oh, well, I was thinking you axed the rest. But
What do we do?
They did a reality show in Sweden.
Fire them. We fire
Well, I
them.
don't know about like fire them, but we got to have some stakes on a reality television show.
No, I
right?
think we maybe, yeah, but Yanko was wanting to get people fired
Wait,
before.
please, can we not do EG anymore? Have we done?
Yeah,
it?
I'm done with EG. I
you,
tried
sir.
to get us off EG.
I know.
I tried to get us off EG.
I just want to give a shout out to one of the legends,
Okay.
Counter-Strike Karn.
Yep.
Karn at CS, he's the general manager. He's the guy. That's a guy you need to in charge of your esports division,
Okay.
for example. And he just said beers and CS banter. He replied to my tweet. He said beers and CS
tweeted
banter,
something?
not a bad combo indeed.
We had a run in, me and Khan.
You
Wow.
guys made up though. It seems.
Yeah, you're fine now. No,
He talks shit.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to talk shit. I was just trying to help his Counter-Strike team, man. And then he fucking... He
What did you
attacked-
say?
there's
what
so
did I
many-
say?
I remember the altercation, but I don't remember the context.
I don't know. Are we digging this up?
Well, I think the viewers would be interested now.
There's a lot cooler.
yeah, he's because Trace did the one without the headphones, so he's saying like it's way better when you can hear the people.
Right?
talk.
Yeah. Well, this is what I forgot, Trace. This is why we had this
that
issue.
little fucking thing.
Yeah, and what I have a bigger mixer, but I didn't really like. If I knew, I could have had fucking maybe 6 microphones on the go. But we're
I have
only-
mine
we're
at the
only-
hotel room. I
We
could
could
have brought
have
it.
more.
That's a whole different category then.
We could have a lot. Yeah, but we could. Like, it's possible. We could, because we were talking about the times that we started this podcast off talking about like how we used to travel, the 5 of us plus Alex, right? There was a lot of the time we were traveling around the world together, and how we're probably never going to experience those times
Oh, a
again.
couple more people, but dead now, of course.
Well, yeah, but we had the 6 of us, right? And we were pretty.
Frisbees.
Oh boy. Yeah, I agree, Chad. The 6 of us really, having a good time.
Yeah, and that's what basically the long story short, and how we were going to tie this into Counter-Strike conversation was like that's what we're hoping to
Sadicist.
bring back for. No, well, that's what we're hoping to
Jesus.
bring back for Pro League, right? We're trying to bring it back for Pro League in terms of the vibe and everything that we had like previously.
Well, I mean,
and
it's so funny because like what you're trying to say, what we're trying to bring back to Pro League is fun.
yes, but
That's
we are.
that's
we are
the
trying to
crux
bring
of
back
it,
fun.
which is true. I mean, Trace is the witness of it.
What,
like, we're
what was
not
the
having
most fun
there.
event we've ever had?
That's a good question.
I don't. Spring Break Dallas was pretty solid.
Yeah.
That was the best one of all time.
That was
I
pretty
think.
solid.
You can never recapture that energy, I don't think. That was amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn Henry down.
Or,
Hold up a
or
second.
he just doesn't have to bring it as close.
It's all right.
probably
We
my fault.
we turn it
Yeah,
down.
I think. Well, speaking of Henry and a microphone, DreamHack Malmo,
Which one?
the
27.
after party where Henry DJ'd.
Ooh,
Oh, no,
that was
we
lit.
were-
I
we were
remember.
just- we were just talking about that. That's when I broke my ankle.
Yeah.
And just walking here now, Trace and I did the 50-minute walk from my place and rolled my ankle again. Same ankle.
My man.
Yeah, fell over.
Little weak still from
I
2017.
heard
Yep,
there's that
little
there's
weak.
that little area in Malta where people have problems with their ankles. Is it the
because
same spot? It's slippery in there.
No, just
Is
down
it?
the road. Just
The
down the
pace
road.
has to be set. Otherwise, you're pretty much in a bad spot.
It's just down the road where we're talking about, Yanko. But
A lot of steep hills there. That's all I'm saying.
look, it
can
does
happen
get
to anyone.
Slippery when wet applies to all of Malta.
Yeah, true,
If you're going out to Valletta, be very careful. It's shiny.
It's like limestone, right? Like,
Trace, we got to get this mic in your face, man. You're just gonna have to. If you want to
Sorry.
talk,
You guys need to get closer together, I think is what it is.
face-to-face.
no, I
Maybe
didn't
use the
mean
same
that. I
chair.
just meant.
Jason sure is making a lot of demands for just getting off an airplane.
So look, we're gonna have more people getting here shortly. We got one Dinko arriving. We have
Cool.
Freya.
You should have made this a
Shout
live
out to
stream.
Dinko.
You should have done a live show. Everyone was turning up.
we probably could have.
Oh, there's a camera.
The whole
The
talent
camera's
crew,
working.
Harry, Hugo.
Yeah, it'd
We're
be like a
recording.
lobby. Everyone just turning up and they're on camera.
I'll order the next round of beers.
Should we
Is
really
Walt is a
quickly-
thing here? It
Walt,
is?
yeah.
Should we even just run? Should we run down the group, or are we just gonna call it?
I guess we could talk about it, right? We got
We
more
don't have to
people
talk
here.
about it. We
I
have
want to
too many
say,
people
listen,
to
I
talk
want to
about
bring
it.
one thing back. So you guys, if anyone, all you guys that listened to the last episode, you remember I was saying that Chad hates me now because I fucked up the recording and he had to do it all over again. And he tried to convince me that we're still mates and everything's good, okay? So those of you who watched that episode, you also listen and remember that I guaranteed that Nico will be here for the next one, for the start of Pro League. And Chad intentionally pushed the episode forward so that he can't be on here, so I look like a liar.
So now you're taking
So
shots
that's
at-
Chad for you guys. He'll smile at you, but have a knife behind his
that's
back.
Hold on, since we're airing out dirty laundry, anybody else?
We don't need to bring that up now. We're going to do it after the broadcast.
All right, but
I think
with
the
this,
first time I came to Malta, Henry told me that
my God.
he'd never done laundry before. He used to send it out.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's true. I've changed my ways now.
You do it. You do laundry
My
now?
entire adult life, I've been using a laundry service. I've never washed clothes. But then,
That's
after,
beautiful.
After living with Chad, he showed me how easy it was, and fair play, it is quite easy.
It is very.
I
easy.
wash clothes, but I don't iron them. I have like
I don't really iron
Someone
anything.
do it.
I find like if you hang clothes up straight
Oh,
away,
hang everything.
yeah, then it's
hang
kind of good
everything.
to go.
Yeah.
And I kind of the aesthetic I'm going for anyway.
Doesn't need an
A few
iron.
creases.
problem is, like,
fine.
Doesn't need an iron.
Yeah, it's fine.
you know, it's like the broadcast shirts are the problem. Which I feel like at 30 years old, I should probably watch a couple of YouTube videos and learn how to iron my fucking shirts. So I don't have to ask
Who's
Trace
this? Is
to
this
do it every-
Dinko?
Well, I was gonna say
Okay.
too, like
Stinko.
you can hang stuff on a clothes rack outside. You don't necessarily even have to use your freaking dryer. You know, save yourself a couple.
My
dollars.
man. Yeah.
All right.
Southern ingenuity.
But I feel like Jason, it's like futile to talk about.
I know exactly.
Group A,
No, but what else?
G203.
I have to know when Chad is back because I want Chad to be here for this. But outside of that, what did we have in terms of news? 9Z failed to qualify for the RMR as well. That's a
Just like G2. Throw 'em
I
out.
saw. You know how I know that because I saw Cole tweet out in all caps, and I'm like, someone pissed him off, and he showed them something. So I saw that. So 9Z eliminated 0-0 Nation in the IEM Rio qualifier game, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to Rio and 0-0 Nation isn't, but now they played for the spot at the America's RMR, and 0-0 Nation beat them 2-0, and the second map was 16-0.
Ooh, that's a thing of
And
beauty.
Cold was like highest rated player as
You
well.
love that. A goose egg. Is he back?
I don't know. I think he's figured some things out personally, like, you know, like to be in a better spot on himself. And to be honest, I told him in Brazil because he and Taco, you know, he also said he's taking a step back so the kids can shine. But I said
I was there that night.
but I said I said that's good from you, and you're probably at that point. I said maybe you can, you know, like I said maybe you're not there yet. If they can't like man up, maybe you just take the star role. I think like he can still do it probably.
Yeah.
we've got a Dinko here now. Dinko, take a seat.
Is he old enough to have beer?
I think so. I think he's on. Now, Dinko, you
In
can
Serbia
share,
he is,
You can
so
share
let's
the
say
mic.
you're Serbian.
You can share the mic with me. Well, you can talk into that one right now if you want.
I think this is going to quickly get out of control.
Oh yeah. So what we're gonna
Right.
do
So
is
this group.
we're gonna wrap this very quickly.
Okay, I was gonna say.
We're towards that. Do you want a beer, Dinko?
Yeah.
Can I see your ID?
Wait, this isn't Group A.
What
EG is in Group A.
Yeah. They just lost.
Oh,
They just lost. What this morning?
How
They lost.
shitty.
Well, they lost last night.
How
and this
shitty,
morning they have to hop on a
How
flight.
shitty are they feeling right now having to come here?
Oh, probably not as shitty as they're going to feel at the end of their
And the
20-hour
first game is
travel
against
day.
Cloud9, which you know they're going to win because Cloud9, they're the fucking. You know what did you say? You know, you go into the grammar book. It's not a grammar book. It's a text. It's not a textbook. It's
Dictionary?
a dictionary.
Dictionary.
You go into the
Dictionary.
dictionary. You look up the word disappointment, and there's fucking Cloud9's pictures next to it.
Yo, Henry, you got a picture in there.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough.
Yo, me too.
we got we definitely look. Here's the thing. Why don't we get EG on the couch with us during Pro League to talk about their experiences so far, and they can discuss
Sure.
how they feel impacted by their
We can make it a
tweets.
therapist
I'll
content.
fly Casada in especially for the segment. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, get someone like Tim. Tim's cool. He knows us, right? It's unfair to bring in some of the youngins, but yeah, I think it's fuck it.
All
Not
right.
talk about the. We'll do
fuck
it.
it.
Maybe we'll do the mini one, Chad, like you said, and
Yeah.
talk about the games. Or guys, with what we're trying to do with Pro League, that's just going to be the broadcast. So tune the fuck in.
Yeah, we should be bringing a bit more of the casual side of things to
Alright.
the actual show. But we've been going for about like an hour and 40, and everyone's
This is great,
arriving.
I think.
Let's
Yeah.
Let's all give
call
it up.
and we'll get more episodes going during the week.
Here's the pineapple
How do you say
pizza.
cheers in Maltese?
Fucking cheers, man.
L'chaim.
Does anybody have any stories they want to leave the
I think we
viewership
should
with?
tell them about the
You guys did
hotel.
You guys did some old school esports this past
Wait,
week.
where,
Yeah,
were
we-
you, where did you broadcast? Because it
So-
was here, no?
Yeah,
I haven't
dude.
slept.
So Dinko keeps stitching me up at these smaller events. He always messages me, Henry, I've got a great deal for us. We can go to this event. It'll be super easy. It won't be a problem. So it's an
Because
event.
he's getting fucked out of the big ones, but we'll leave that for a special episode.
So we thought, he goes, oh, Henry, it's in Malta, obviously. It's going to be fine. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Quick. It'll be a couple of games a day. It'll be fine.
I thought I could convince you. You know, it's right beside your home. It's a 5-minute walk, Henry.
Yeah. But unfortunately, things started to
Broadcast out of Poland for an event elsewhere.
Yeah,
There's a lot of that going
it's
around
a
these
classic,
past few years.
classic
yeah.
move. Do you know what? But I'm
We did a broadcast. It lasted till 4 a.m. We were still casting, and it was just really there was no communication whatsoever. And then I turned up to the hotel today, exhausted because we went straight from the venue to the airport, and I've actually just seen the event packing down, Henry. So
Yeah, that's quite
it's
depressing.
great
The
to
event
see
we were
what it looks
covering from
like.
Yeah, I
Poland.
saw
We've
it
come
as well.
back.
I thought
Yeah.
we were setting up, but
You know, Trace was calling me and he was kind of giving me some sideline reporting.
So unfortunately for us, like when we weren't really in Warsaw. We were like actually like by the airport.
Like
So we're,
40-minute drive
45
from
minutes from the actual city
civilization.
centre. So,
Oh my
well, that's where
Lord.
Kingen is, right? You were-
right, exactly. We were next door to that.
We were next door
okay.
to that, so we've
Ah,
seen
yeah.
OG at the same hotel actually.
So unfortunately, like it was 4 best of 3s a day. Real throwback there. That was like 3 best of 3s a day was ambitious.
I
now
was-
they went for 4.
I
That's
just felt real
2016.
bad, you know, the whole time.
So
was like,
I haven't
oh.
finished a broadcast at 4:30 in the morning ever in my life. It reminded me of that Katowice like in what,
Oh,
2016
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, 2016.
Say when the whole arena was empty and we're still
Yep.
doing like the third
Yep.
map.
It's great because
Tech
the-
delays to start the day.
Yeah.
Games went into overtime.
Dude, we
3
finished-
maps
we
everywhere.
legit finished the third map at 4:30 in the morning, and we'd been going since like 3 p.m. It was like the wildest.
the only
experience.
happiness Henry found every day was a kebab box and a KFC.
Dude, I was to be fair, Polish KFC.
That's classic
Legit.
Henry.
Chef kiss, and I just had like 1 meal a day. I said I'm gonna have 1 massive KFC a day, like a banquet, and then I'll have like 3,000 calories in one sitting, and then I'll cast CS, and I'll be relatively happy.
Mate, I remember my first event in esports in casting Counter-Strike was like an ESCA LAN that did 4 best of 3s a day. It was
Yeah.
like 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. casting, 5-minute breaks between maps, like enough to go have a cigarette and come back and start casting. And I was like, if I had to do that now, I'd have to ask for so much money.
Oh, I didn't get it though. Unfortunately, I really am doing the fucking entry level, sort of starting at the bottom now. I'm basically a 35-year-old like CS:GO
Rookie.
reject, having to start at the bottom, and I can't even get like close to my day rate. Unfortunately,
it was a great service. There was a lot
I
of
think we did a
younger,
good
new
job
guys
there.
there too, and you know they obviously loved having you there, Henry. And you
sounded great.
were a professor.
Shut up, Dinko.
You were casting at 6 p.m. my time, so it was fun.
oh, true. Did you watch the final?
No.
Okay, the final we did our best work. You should check out the final. Unfortunately, the microphones were clipping a bit, so every time I'm going, ooh,
That just means you're getting super hyped. Oh, it's
yeah,
your
exactly.
classic. That's your classic
I was
call as well.
giving it the beans. I was in full send mode, and we listened back to the clips. I was like, Dinko, we need to clip these. It's like, this is good for a show reel. We can do something with this.
Chad.
We listened to the clips. It's all like completely like blown out. Yeah.
All right.
Every time I screen, you can't really hear it. The story I wanted to tell though was the only time we got to like have any sort of downtime was be like 3 a.m. in the hotel room. We'd have a few beers. Oh, hello. And we were like doing, you know, that game Heads Up. where you
Yeah,
raise your
I do.
own-
We
playing-
played that in Poland.
we were playing, yeah, exactly. It's a classic.
2016.
And we were in like Paolo's hotel room. There was like 10 of us in the room.
Oh,
and we were
this story.
we were just trying to unwind. We were trying to have a bit of social time after a long day. And we're getting a little bit loud.
Fun is
Finally,
bad at
some
this
fun
event,
is
by the
coming
way,
through.
yeah.
Where some smiles on the faces, and everyone's like getting merry. And then all of a sudden we hit this big like poof, poof, poof at the door. and this like huge Polish dude at the door, and he's just going ballistic. He's like screaming in Dinko's face. I was like, what the hell is going on?
I was like, all right, I understand a few words here. He's not calling me anything that nice.
So we kind of like disarmed him and like calmed it all down. We said, we're going to leave. It's all fine. And we start walking down the corridor, and then this other ginormous Polish man is like the hotel
it was
manager.
like straight up 1980s,
He's
like
the final boss of the
super
level.
boss,
He's
yeah.
walking down the hallway towards us, and like, this can't be good. And he is already screaming like, I don't know, what was the wording he was using? You said like he was calling us sons of whores.
Yeah, around like straight up whores actually.
So he's calling us the whores. We're the
yeah,
whores.
so-
Straight up.
Not wrong, just a bit aggressive.
And it wasn't even like
There wasn't another level you
we
could
didn't
go
even
to.
get like a warning. We didn't even get like, hey guys, can you keep it down? He comes in all guns blazing, just like, oh, you guys are whores at this point. And the next level from where we were at was a physical altercation. That was the only place it could have
Hopefully
gone.
not with me.
The energy he brought to that situation, the only place it could go was physical. And I was like, sir, we're leaving. We're going to our rooms. He doesn't speak a word of English, like not one. And it's the most awkward, like embarrassing situation.
Yeah, it was just
felt
hard.
like-
It just killed the vibe right away, and then it was a quick reminder that no fun was.
You're
allowed
lucky,
there.
Dinko, because
Yeah.
Henry has experience with colleagues or co-casters who do like a little bit of an argy-bargy, and tune in to the next episode of Talking Condor to hear about the Moscow experience. Thank you very much.
That's a
Bye.
good throw. That's a good toss. Well done, Yanko.